who would like to give us the recap? I believe Bob did it once. Jess did it last week. No, Nicole did last week.
I can go through it.
Go ahead, Brie. Take us through what happened last week.
So after... I kind of go based off that because I only have like certain information. Oh yes, so Belrose decided to go and take a rest on the bed and dressed as the master of the house, which turned out the master of the house was having an affair with the milk. What was it?
The nursemaid.
The nursemaid, as it's called.
The milkmaid?
The milkmaid. She was also that.
That milk lady.
So he had a lovely fight with her, and while she was kind of creeping in on him, who was it that had the fight with the broom? Oh yes, Rowan got into a fight with a broom, and then
that broom whooped your ass.
did a lot of damage, but we ended up destroying it. And we ended up finding some secret stairs, which brought us upstairs. When we got upstairs, there were the ghosts of the children who we had found left outside.
Yep.
They possessed Belrose because Belrose was trying to leave, and the kids were asshole children like they normally are. Eventually, we found a secret passage, which brought us into the basement. When we got to the basement of the...
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay. When we got to the basement, we wandered around trying to find this humming, or chanting, that we were being led to. Also, that Rowan had found a doll that had given her the premonition of the chanting, so we're walking towards that. We split up for a while in the basement. A group of 3 of us, I think it was Pharaoh, Nira, and Visenya, ended up fighting a mimic. Got some cool stuff from there. We all got back together, entered the chamber where the chanting was coming from. When we got into the chamber, there was a... What was it?
It's like a group of shadow type thing?
Yeah, cultists. What was
Cultists?
it?
Yeah, cultists.
What was the thing we were fighting?
Oh, the garbage
Mound.
bag? Garbage mound?
Yes, there was a mound.
Shambling mound.
There was a shambling mound.
Yep.
Garbage pile.
And
Garbage pile.
as we were taking a very long time to decide what to do, because we had to the cultists kept saying one must die,
Yep.
so we had to sacrifice some
We decided.
thing. We were taking too long, so the shambling mound went after Captain Mara, which then at that point we started to panic because Captain Mara would possibly be dead. Captain Mara, side note, does not know what we have done to save her.
Nope.
We kind of lied to her and she believed Belrose. But we sacrificed Mussolini, and then as we sacrificed Mussolini, he turned into a drow and then disappeared after saying something, which I can't recall.
Always be with you, or something. He also said no.
Yeah. He said a few things.
It was heartbroken.
Yeah, it was really sad. And then
Oh, it'll only get better.
And then Captain Mara kind of woke up. Belrose was able to lie to her, and she kind of doesn't truly believe it, but he was good enough at lying and deceiving her that we left. We left the house. The house then turned into
a giant lie.
On behalf of all of us, I might add.
Pardon?
He lied
Otherwise,
to
she
me.
would have kicked
Oh,
your
yeah.
asses.
Yeah. He
Oh,
lied.
yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh,
would have
yeah,
ended
yeah.
up bad for a couple of you.
No, we wanted you to lie.
And then as we went to go exit the house, it turned into kind of this decayed old ancient home that no one's lived in for a very long time. And the fog has lifted, and there is now a town. And we were on our way to look for a tavern or something to try to take a long rest. And that was that. That was last week.
Fuck those kids.
Yeah.
Pardon my French.
I think it was completely reasonable.
Okay. Fair enough recap.
Fair enough.
So from where you guys are in the town, you decide that once you guys exit the house and you look back at it and it's old and decrepit, and you decide, you know what, we need to rest. This town's a little fuckery. You don't even know if it's a town yet. You just came out and you're like, oh, the fog's kind of lifting. So you make your way back to the way you came from, a little tiny road, and you decide to take up there. Just at the edge of it. You can see off in the distance like what could be housing and stuff like that, but you're so tired from the actual ordeal this is where you all will take your long rest. And for just to expedite it, we'll say you do take your long rest. You know, you recover your hit points, you get your spells back, stuff like that. Being all elves, you take your 4-hour sleep or 4-hour meditation that allows you you look at the time of day when you go to take your long rest, and it looks like a dreary midday. It's gray. It's always gray. It just seems, more gray than usual from what you'd be used to.
You have 31? Why do I have 21?
Side note, underneath you, there's a little box. Can you just turn the volume down a bit? Underneath the table. I don't know why it's so loud. I mean, I'm happy.
This long rest button's a little janky.
Mine's
Took my,
27.
I had 24 HP to beat
I think
down
that
to
depends on
18
how you roll.
when I hit the long rest.
Or
Brought you back
it
to
has
18?
do with
Make my
your
spell back.
constitution or something. Doesn't it?
Actually, mine
That's good.
Mine went down
I'm not
too.
going to question
Hey,
it.
mine went down too.
Wait, what?
When you hit long rest,
Yeah.
just modify it back to its original.
That was my thing too.
Oh, mine's
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's mine. Maybe I hit long rest. And
Now, do these short rest?
'Cause we
hit
shot the
dice
exact same, I'm
things
pretty sure.
also?
You gain back half the amount that you
But
spent.
I think it might
Okay.
So if you
depend
spend
on
2
your
hit dice, when you take a long rest, you'll gain back 1 hit die.
I mean,
Okay.
sorry. After a long rest, does
Should be
that
fine.
dice
I'll just do what
reset?
you
You know what I mean? 'Cause-
Yeah, so if you
Seems
use
safe.
2 of them, it'll reset 1 of them. Okay?
Okay, I see. All right.
Wait. And you have
So
to
last
go and
time I
override
used
it.
2 dice on my short rest.
Yeah, so it'll reset 1 of those dice. So you'll have 2 dice now, because you have a
Okay.
total of 3.
Got
So
it.
you'll have 2 dice. Now.
Oh.
To
Okay,
roll to
so I
recover.
had 3.
Pardon me?
To roll to recover hit points,
Yeah, to roll to recover hit
Where do
points.
I mark that down?
and that's D10.
I just
For
put it in
you,
my...
I think as a
I don't
sorcerer, it's
know.
like a
Okay.
D8 or D6.
Where do I see that again?
You should just say hit dice, like if you export your character sheet. Actually, you should say right there on your sheet. In the center of the sheet,
Oh yeah, 3D6.
3d6.
Is there anywhere
So
on
2d6.
this to do that? On D&D Beyond?
I don't know where
I
it
don't
is.
know.
Where,
I don't
where
see
it
it.
is on there.
Yeah.
I
If
don't
you
see
hit
it,
long,
though.
I know if you hit long rest, I can't remember where exactly it is. I keep forgetting to actually keep a thing of D&D Beyond up,
I
like a
don't
character
think
thing up, so I
so.
can take.
Because even when you click your HP, it doesn't say anything about
Hit dice.
hit dice.
Mark it on your sheet then.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. I would say mark it on your sheet.
Make it a good one.
We should all have 3, right?
No.
You should all have 3 hit dice. Yes,
Okay.
they should all be different though.
Yes.
Some of you have D8s, some of you have D6s. Some
Yeah,
of you
mine
have
are
Did you
D10s.
use any?
I used 1. So I get
So
1
you'll
back.
get 1 back.
Yeah.
Yes. 1 is usually at low levels the clutch one to
I
use because
used
you'll always get.
all of them.
So you'll get.
2
We'll
back?
round up. So we'll say you'll get 2 back.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys will make your encampment outside.
It feels good. to
Sure
be
does.
healthy. And all your spells and everything.
So how many days has it been?
Well, you left at night. It hasn't been a full day yet.
Okay.
So
I was
you
been a
left
busy
that-
day.
You left at night.
Real busy.
You fought towards the early morning. You stumbled upon the house in the morning, so
Yeah.
it would now be about the mid-afternoon. So when you guys take this long rest, you'll be going into the evening.
I need to buy arrows.
Okay? You will need arrows to be fletched.
I still have 4.
How many? Did we decide how much can I carry? How
Whatever
many
you're-
quivers?
You can carry one
One-
quiver at
only
a
one
time.
quiver.
Yes.
And
One quiver
that's
holds 20
20.
arrows.
What about your chest? Can I put any quivers in there?
You can, yeah. You can just you don't even need to put quivers in there. You can just stack arrows in there. Like if you want, yeah. He's just gotta drag it around.
I'm sure he's fine. He'll be okay.
Sure, he'll charge me for rent there too.
So you are all going to take your long rest, yes?
Yep.
Okay. So you all go essentially what you came in, you followed the fog, you made a right, you saw the house, you went into the house. Now that you've come out of the house, you've gone back to the left the way you came in, and you're in that little clearing right after the gates. Right before essentially what you perceive as this town to be. You'll set up camp there along the roadside, and you'll take your long rest there. Naturally, due to the events, they're going to weigh a little heavily on you, right? Especially Nira. Especially you. As you go into your meditative state, you immediately have a hard time keeping focus. You actually find it almost near impossible to keep focus just because you know what you did benefited the group. It benefited your friends, your warriors. You know that was the right choice to make, but at the same time, you don't have your companion anymore. Like, your companion had been with you for almost 100 years while you were on the streets as a young drow. And now you're starting to piece it together as wait, he was the same mouse for 100 years on the streets. And you start to really think about the situations that you were getting into where you notice he was always there. He'd be able to take a hit and come back. There were certain times during during the 10 days that you would notice he wouldn't be there, but he would always return in the mornings. And as you find yourself slowly and grudgingly slipping into that trance, as you begin to rest, you hear his voice playing over and over in your head, asking why. Like, why would you do this to me? Why did you do this to me? You focus, and you focus in on it hard, and it does start to eat at you because he was your only companion, the only one you trusted. And that begins to slip into your head as you replay that over and over and over again. Mara, as you go into your meditative state, shield in front of you, channeling your god, Thorm isn't responding. He won't. It's not that you feel he won't speak to you, it's you feel like he can't speak to you. You're having a hard time connecting to almost like that direct line you're used to having, but it's not there. It's almost like a static. You reach out for him, you feel him reaching back, but you can't connect to him. You know he's there, but you question whether he's listening or not. Balros, you especially.
Straight.
You're starting to hear things. You're not sure what. You're not even sure why. What you do know is that they're appealing. Your arcane studies have only gotten you so far. And it's a good place you're in. But you're starting to feel this call, this draw to something. Like you're meant for something bigger. You know that there's power out there. And you know that there's this journey you want to take to find it. You're not sure how, where, or why. But the thought of it excites you. Knowing that there could be more out there. And as you enter your meditative state, you begin to focus more. Arcane words strew through your head, spells that you know, spells that you constantly prepare, you work on. The magic that you know. But now this unruly want of more from your magic not consumes you, but definitely piques your curiosity.
So
Calm the rage there. Visenya. During that event, you watched and aided the whole thing as it happened. You know that what you did wasn't necessarily wrong until the fact that a drow all of a sudden sprouted up and now you're not exactly sure what to think. Knowing your path and the way it's going, you'll stick to it. But you'll always be questioning of how you'll respond to your path, like the path that you're walking. And as you do that along the roadside, right before you slip into your meditative trance, you hear the and you turn around behind you, and there's a gray wolf that sits behind you. He doesn't move. He's not threatening. He has this glare about him. He's so curious about you. So before you actually go into your meditative state, I want you to make a animal handling check to see what you would do when he shows up.
He's a good boy. He's a good boy.
So it's going to be an 11.
11?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you do?
Can I just like walk over and kind of like get down on like a knee?
He's directly behind you. You don't even need to turn your head and he'll
Oh,
appear.
he's like right there?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I just turn around?
You can.
Okay.
So you'll turn around and you'll look at him. Do you do anything?
Oh.
Say anything?
I think I just want to like go to pet it.
Okay. He'll let you.
Okay.
As you pet it, you can feel cold. He's cold. Not feeling wise like, oh, this guy's icy cold. It's he feels cold. And as you run your fingers through his gray whisks, like his fur, you notice that beneath it, it gets colder inside of his fur. The Arctic white that lies beneath the gray. Do you do or say anything else?
No.
You fall into your meditative state, and as you do, you feel his back butt into yours. As he sits, ears sloped completely forward, eyes forward. Always your back, always at your back. You go into your meditative state. Pharaoh, you also focus on the events that happened prior. You think into yourself like that wasn't right, but the only reason you think to yourself it wasn't right is because a drow had popped into the situation where before it was just a simple mouse, a companion of the drow. You dig deep and you know that you've adventured with these people before. They are your trusted friends. They're your allies. These are people who would have and will bleed for you. But you toil on, and you think back to your monastery and how you would deal with situations like this. And you remember your old master, an orc, I believe he was. As he sits in front of you as you meditate, and he sits in front of you with his proud stance. And he just glares at you, knowing that you are lost in this troubled thought. And he looks down at your hand where you now wear the jaded cobra. And he gives you a look like, nice new toy. And you're proud of it. You look at him and, you hold it in front of yourself. You know that these inner turmoils are what will build your character. What will set you straight for the path that you need to journey through. You place it in the back of your mind. You know you can trust in Mira. So you allow yourself to move past the event. Put your faith in your drow companion. And you begin to meditate on what that cobra means to you. Why a cobra? Why jade? Why any of that? And that's where your focus lies as you draw into your meditative state. Roll. You find it hard to focus. You're having a rough go of it. It seems like everything's just scattered out. You alright? Don't die.
It's gonna be okay. Wrong tube.
Everything's just kind of scattered about. You're having a hard time, one, making the fact that your sister is your traveling companion. Two, that you're back in this group, knowing there has been long periods of time where you have to serve and then do not, have to serve and do not. The jumble of it, it's unsettling to you. But again, you know that these adventurers are the ones that you can trust. These are your friends. May they be at a distance most of their life, they are still your friends. But you begin to wonder, are you strong enough? Is your path the righteous one? You notice you overfocus on certain things. Is your aim true? Do you strike with means to strike? Or is the meaning of the strike just the means to the end? Is every strike 5 gold pieces in your pocket? Or is every strike meaningful? Does that turmoil stay within you? Or do you look past that and say, no, I have purpose here? And as you contemplate that, you find yourself slipping into your meditative state. You all find you can meditate in peace. About 4 hours go by, where you all begin to come to. A few things you notice are different. I need, actually, Rowan, make a perception check.
7 plus 5, so 12.
12? You notice there's a wolf breathing on your neck.
My neck.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny how the sisters don't necessarily know it, but whenever you both sit down, even though there's a distance of about 5 feet in between you, you always sit back to back. Otherwise, one is up and one's down directly underneath, but you're always together. Right now, you feel the on the back of your neck, and you turn around, and there is a fairly large gray wolf staring at you.
So he's staring at me, so he's awake.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, he does not sleep.
okay. I guess I look at him
Mhm.
and kind of have a moment where I'm just like, and I guess I look at my sister, and she's already in her meditative state.
Well, you're all coming too, so she'll be waking up at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll ask her, and be like, where'd this wolf come from?
He arrived last night. He's I think he's supposed to be my companion. Seems to be, he's not leaving, so.
Is this from her parents?
I mean, kind of. It's from back home.
And I get up and walk out.
Cool. You get up and-
I'm done with this.
Peace.
Like mid-sentence.
I'm just
Oh,
gonna
what's that?
I'm just
Oh.
gonna start like petting the wolf and kind of just like
He lets you, like I said, he'll let you pet him. You notice the look on his face is very stern. It's almost as if you walked into one of those debutante balls, and there's the one that every girl wants, and he's just the very stern face, chiseled jaw wolf. He looks very strong. He looks very reliable. You're all coming awake. What do y'all do? Imagine the
I
monk
just,
jumps up and goes, "Holy fucking wolf!" No. What do you do? What's up?
I'm just gonna just calm, just open my eyes and like keep thinking.
Keep it somber.
Yeah, very somber.
Keep it cool like a monk.
Mm-hmm.
I will also ask what the deal with this wolf is.
Oh, and then I pop up.
I will announce to everyone that the wolf is my wolf
Okay.
and he'll be staying with us.
Should
How
I
do
be
you know it's your
afraid?
wolf?
No, he's like a companion.
Do you have
Wait, how
control
do you-
over it?
Yes.
How do you know that? Did you try anything yet?
Oh no, I haven't like set it on anyone.
Does it know any tricks?
Well, I didn't mean you have to
No.
set it on someone.
No tricks.
No hurting the wolf or the wolf hurting anyone.
The wolf is literally just.
It's just a wolf.
It's sitting there,
Can't
and
deal with her
if
right
you
now.
walk up to it, you're probably the tallest in the group.
Yeah, I'm 6'4".
If you walk up to him, you can pet him like this.
Okay.
He's tall. The big wolf. You big boy.
Well, I'm gonna go pet him.
He'll let you.
He's friendly.
Good wolf. He's alright.
Would you like to
Oh,
do
dear.
or say anything to him?
We needed some pick me up.
Okay.
Sure. I'd like to talk to him.
Okay. What would you like to say to him?
How did you arrive here?
He looks at you. Just, it's a wolf.
Okay. Do you speak?
He literally just stern expression.
Okay.
You can't even tell if he's blinked in the last while. But he lets you pet him. He's like, he's very. Every once in a while, you feel like into your hand, like I like that.
All right. Well, that's enough out of him.
I spent
I'm just gonna go
I spent a lot of time back
walk
home.
away from the group a little bit.
Yep.
Just kind of
With
hang over
animals.
there.
He's a bit of a talker. That wolf.
I'm just hanging back, feeling a little jealous because she has a companion and I just had to murder mine.
yours.
So I'm just kind of chilling back.
Cool.
Don't want to talk to anyone.
No problem.
Pretty sassy.
And I'm like, not there.
Not there.
I'm out walking because I'm pretty.
It wasn't a family wolf. Why are you being like this?
Oh, our
Pretty
family
brooding.
gave you a wolf.
I'm pretty brooding right now
Yeah.
about some things.
I went and made
Like,
friends with
I
an
am
animal in the
brooding.
forest,
Yeah,
and she's
right
all
now.
upset about it.
It's a bit of a sensitive subject. So,
Fair enough.
and I don't know whether or not I like
Oh, no.
the wolf yet.
Fair enough.
He was
Mark,
a
are you
wild
up?
wolf back home. He's not like a family heirloom.
Oh, but I like you, Vega.
I'm up, but I'm just sort of like taking in the scene, still sort of like focusing on my holy symbol,
I like
trying to
you,
figure
though.
out what the hell's going on.
Can I send the wolf over to Mara to kind of just?
Of course you can.
Okay, I'm gonna send him over to Mara and just.
You don't want to talk
I'm
to the
just-
wolf?
I'm just like trying to like get in my face and like, get out of here.
Ah.
Get out of here.
So while the wolf is all in her face, I want to meet with the rest of the group and talk.
That's kind of what my plan
Okay.
is, to distract her with the
All right.
wolf.
Well, Mark, you're focusing on your god and this now wolf who's pestering you. He's just kind of walking over like.
His name's Vega.
He's kind of just putting his. Well, he has a name. He's just putting his head into your shield, and you're like, wolf, get back off. Get. He won't. He's just. Like he'll stand in front of you and you're going to pet me. This is how this is gonna happen.
Hey.
And he stares
Just, like,
at you
scratch
just.
his back with the hilt of my sword.
He is handsome. It's a handsome wolf.
Who is it that we've come across?
So,
Mr.
you,
Handsome, a doggy handsome.
So you approach the rest of the group?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Rowan,
Okay.
you gotta come back.
Okay. Are we in a tent or something right now, or we're
No, I think
just
like
kind of there?
wandering.
Okay. Okay.
In the open.
Got it.
You literally walked out into the street and went, this looks good.
Like we had a hangover.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I think that if we're
This
gonna
looks
have a conversation, we should probably walk away.
Let
How about you guys come and join me where I am? So I'm further down.
So we'll say for the sake of argument, like, Mara's kind of where she was. She'll be about 20 feet away with the wolf. The rest of you are kind of just making your way back. You know, the wolf's essentially distracting her. But Mara, you can make a perception check.
How high is that?
It's a 14.
Oh.
Do you want to let them have their time?
I think just because I'm still rattled with not really getting a proper meditative state.
Yep.
That I'm just sort of in a daze.
Cool.
So
You're trying
I
to communicate
love
with
them.
Thorn. Just
Yeah, I
seeing how
know.
that's
I
going.
see that they're all sort of gathering, but I'm still sort of like getting it together.
Sounds good. Alright, so you guys have your... You walk away. You all kind of come together and you're all a little bit bothered by what had to transpire. Not because you had to sacrifice to all of you a rat, to her a mouse, but the fact that he changed into a drow immediately before you did that, that's kind of what's sitting on your minds right now. Nira?
So, we don't know where our path is going, but we're here together. We made this decision together. I'm feeling quite terrible, but I don't have answers as to why my mouse turned into a drow. I need your support to move forward and
Did you-
hopefully find answers along the way.
Did you know at all that he was
that
a
he
drow?
was a drow? No.
Wow. How long have you had it?
Probably 100 years.
Okay. Fiora just goes into depression right now.
Oh.
Johnny
Hero
just
sinks
walks
into
in
his
and just sinks down and walks
crawling
away.
depression.
Excuse my lifer.
My friend of a century is now dead.
I met him on my paths through the Underdark. He just kind of joined me in companionship.
I think it's your call. Do you want us to keep this from Mara?
We should for now.
I agree.
Once we gain more answers, we can give her a little bit more info.
I don't know how long we can keep it from her though.
She's visibly upset.
You will all have to help with this.
I especially need the support of my cousin.
I'm here.
Okay.
I got you.
This is why
Gotcha,
I
baby.
said what I said in the first place. I don't care about them as much.
Oh.
Fair enough.
There, you guys have been traveling for forever. This is like their shtick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I love you guys, but this much.
Yeah.
Her, I love this much.
You're here. We're here.
Unless
Especially
you give me
'cause she's a
shiny
drow
things, then you
female.
go up a
It's
little
like-
bit more.
In the hierarchy of drow elves, it's females, everybody else.
Something.
And you got to consider Belros being a big, like a male sorcerer in a drow convent, essentially. It's like men aren't allowed to practice that much magic. So the fact that he was allowed to be a sorcerer of a lead house is huge. But he's still like,
You guys notice?
so like men are here, Belros is like right here. But females, man.
Yeah.
Female drow are considered prime A1 existence.
Peace.
And infant drows.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
So do you wrap up your conversation, or?
Wrap it up.
So as you wrap up your conversation, you notice specifically, Nira, the wolf comes saunters over to Firo. But you notice, especially, his step. It's very, it's okay, buddy. You wanna go see Mama? That would be Vega. Come here.
I want to be the wolf. We've got very good sound effects.
So, you notice
You're my wolf.
the step is very light. You can't hear his paw prints. You being a rogue of the Underdark, you being drow, you know something about being quiet.
Whoa.
This wolf's quiet. Like, you can't even hear the paw prints hitting the ground. It's almost like it's trying not to be heard, but trying to be seen at the same time. It's weird. You notice that, just because of your keen sense. Comes pondering over to Firo, and the first thing he does is comes up and he just puts his head, essentially, he's not looking at you. He walks to the side of you and just puts his head into you. That's it.
Oh. Hey, buddy.
Perfect timing.
Production value.
Come on, buddy.
We trained him to do that.
Yeah.
At a specific moment.
Okay, yeah. I guess I just pet him.
Okay.
I just pet him, yeah. That'll give him a nice little.
And I'm starting to get a little
Wait,
uneasy seeing that they're all sort of meeting without me twirling my sword. But I'm saying
Are you walking over?
As
to
we're all like,
even the wolf is like, she's gonna see what's going on.
She's looking. Pretend you're not looking.
Do you walk over to them? What do you do?
I think I'm gonna slowly start getting up
Okay.
and start, heading over. Silently.
Hey, Mara.
oh hey, yeah.
Hey.
You're a deep sleeper.
Looks like we're all ready to head out.
Absolutely. Which way, fearless leader?
You take. You
Put it on a little
we
thicker, eh,
follow.
bud?
Yeah, I was gonna say, put it on thicker, you'll start rolling some dice.
Don't want to have to send the wolf after.
Yeah. How are you?
I think I'm starting to still feel a little uneasy with everything.
What would you like to say to them? Do you want to ask them anything? Talk to them?
I as she starts to talk, whatever she's about to say, I'm gonna slip it and be like, I think we should go find a tavern.
Should be good.
I could use a drink.
Yeah, I think that it's time
A
for me.
hefty one.
Stiff drink.
Stiff drink.
You
You
know,
don't have
maybe
to ask your paladin twice about stiff things.
maybe we can go like find out,
What?
find a person.
Let's find a person.
Yeah, you know, let's go find a tavern or a person
Cool.
or anything. Let's go.
So, from the roadway where you guys are, you'll start approaching what is the village. Tall shapes loom out of the dense fog that surrounds everything in this village. The muddy ground underfoot gives way to slick, wet cobblestone. The tall shapes become recognizable as village dwellings. Houses, 2-story lofts, 3-story towns, the lot. The windows of each house stare out from the pools of blackness. So you can't tell if some of the houses actually have people in them, or if they're just there, almost for show. No sound cuts the silence. You could hear a pin drop, except there's a very deep and mournful sobbing that echoes through the streets from a little bit of a distance from where you're walking in.
Can I make a check as to how far that distance will be?
Make a perception check. D20.
I think that's a 6.
You think it's like that way somewhere?
Yeah, pretty much.
Can I send Will up to
circles.
just kind of like wander around and see if he can find people, and I'll just tell him to come back and tell me if he finds anyone?
He'll wander a little bit in front of you.
Okay.
Won't leave too far. He'll stay like about maybe 10 feet in front of you, just keeping a good march.
Okay.
Just in front of you, keeping his ears. Like you see his ears doing the radar thing, like most canine would.
Is there any people around?
Nothing you can see yet.
Just...
Well, it depends. Make me. Tell you what, you all can make perception checks for me. No one else, you can make another one if you like.
Thank God.
19.
19? Okay.
Oh, 15.
10.
20.
10.
Not a
10?
natural 20.
No.
But 20.
We'll call them dirty 20s.
Dirty 20.
We'll call them dirty 20s.
That was like my whole, all 9 of them.
What?
Or 10 of them.
I got a 10.
A 10?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody above a 10, really. Who has above a 10? Right on. 10 and above.
Including the 10?
Including the 10.
Everyone's very perceptive
Very
except for
perceptive.
me this
She's,
morning.
she's still very bothered by the fact that we were talking.
Rattled,
angry that
guys,
we're talking
rattled.
shit about her.
Alright, so
Water in her. Or
You
your black
notice
water
that-
in her
Yeah.
face.
essentially the cobblestone road that you're walking through, the only familiar part of it is to the right of you. That's the road you kind of hooked down to go to that weird house where the 2 ghost kids kind of messed you up for a bit. So you decide that you're going to start heading straight. And you can tell that you're heading west right now, essentially, down this cobblestone road. It runs east-west. You're heading west, and you're noticing that the sound is coming to your left. And as you walk west, it's starting to get a little bit louder and louder. And as the sound is this, it's a deeply mournful sobbing.
Nice. Don't like it one bit.
But you do notice that the air of the town is a little bit different than when you walked in and there was ghost kids everywhere.
Fun.
You notice, like, you do hear the shuffle of feet now and then across like the dirt roads that are in between the housing and stuff like that. Some of the houses are occupied. You do see lights in there. You do see shadows of people. You see doors open, some sweeping their front. It's very few and far between, but there are people here.
Is there anyone outside that we can see?
Not necessarily, no. Like, not really.
I'm just gonna keep walking up the road.
Cool.
Are
As you
we Are we following the sound?
Yep.
As we're
You're
going?
essentially walking in the direction of the sound.
Okay. Okay.
To your left, actually, to the what would be the south side, a sparse light from this building that you see at the corner of where this fork in the road happens. There's a sparse light from this building that spills out beyond the drawn heavy curtains that are inside that room. A sign over the door, creaking on its hinges as it swings eerily back and forth. There's no wind. It's just as it swings back and forth on its hinges. It reads Bildrith's Mercantile.
Oh. I want to go in there.
Cool.
Let us.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyone else need to purchase some goods?
Need to? No. But I will whet my appetite.
Then let's go in.
Let's go.
Are we all walking into this place? I love it.
No, I'm staying outside.
It's
Linked
like,
arms.
yeah, it's like the tiniest desk.
We're all going through the doorway at the same time.
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna stand outside. Doritos is standing outside.
Okay. So who's actually going inside?
I am following Jeff.
Come here. Come take a
I
couple.
Rowan.
stand just outside.
I'm just gonna
the door.
tell Rowan,
Sorry.
if they have any arrows, just let me know. If not, it's not worth my while to go in.
They won't have arrows.
They won't have arrows. I don't want to go in then.
Can I sell my short
You'll be able to sell some stuff.
You know what? We really had enough of you today. It's already been awake for about 5 minutes.
But you don't really know if they'll have it. You just
Yeah.
you read it's a mercantile, so you figured they'll sell something.
It's like, bitch, check yourself. What are you
I'm
doing?
not sure.
She's really annoying me at this point, so I'm not going in because she's going in.
You never asked me, really.
Well,
anyway.
I'd rather stay
So
with
who's
her.
going in?
Me.
I'm staying at the door.
I'm going in.
All right,
I'm going in.
going in.
I'm just gonna sit outside and just start mumbling to the wolf.
So you'll brood. Is
Yeah.
What you
I'm gonna brood.
You're staying outside.
Staying outside.
Going in.
Going in. All right. So as you all go in, you hear the ding ding, like this bell that is trying so hard to ring. It doesn't ring. It kind of just clangs
I have a bell.
as you walk in.
Maybe I'll give you my bell.
Replace the bell.
So as you walk in, the place is pretty decent. It almost looks like what you guys would consider a super center. It's about 70 feet long, 40 feet wide. Goods lining shelves in 4 separate aisles inside of there.
Okay. Can I? I'm
You walk in and there is one
You don't
person.
know this.
You don't know this.
Okay.
There's one, for the sake of argument, I'm gonna say man. There's one man who is sitting at the front desk, like front cashier. Essentially. Older man, not too much, but he's just there.
This is the
Three
first.
things.
This is the first person we see in this town. Real person, not dead person.
Yes, 3 things. Welcome to the store. How can I help you with my mercantile?
Do you have any arrows?
Let me, and he opens up his ledger, and the ledger is probably about 6 inches thick, and he opens to the first page, and he goes,
You know what? You look at that, and I'll just go peruse.
"You go peruse?"
Yeah, I'll go peruse. You keep looking, and
Alright.
let me know if you find anything.
Anybody else
Is
ask
he
him?
behind the counter?
Yeah, he's just behind the counter.
Okay, I go up to the counter and just kind of like lean.
Hey,
Hello.
handsome.
How are you?
Fine.
What's
You?
your name?
Bildrith.
Nice to
Pretty
meet
sure
you.
I'm supposed to be a woman, but not sure.
Oh.
That might get retconned for future.
That's intriguing.
It's not very PC.
Bildrith. Nice to meet
How
you.
long have you had your shop?
And you can tell he kind of trails off, and he goes, longer than I wanted.
Perhaps we could help you with that.
Oh yes. How?
Don't buy the shop.
I would like to buy some things from your shop.
Oh, okay.
What are you looking for?
Perhaps a spell book?
He flips the second page and begins just reading through it.
I'll look for a spell book for you. Don't worry. While I'm back here.
Wait a minute, but
Are
this
you
is-
still talking?
Are
to
you
him?
are you looking to buy a dagger? I have an extra one weighing me down.
I can always buy. I mean, I don't have. What do you want for it?
Is there anyone in this town that would need a dagger? Who is in this town?
Lots of people.
She's just getting,
There are
she's
lots
getting
of,
frustrated.
lots
She's
of
getting
people
real-
in town. Just
Oh yeah.
Where?
I could buy dagger for
Mm.
1 gold.
Ooh.
1 gold?
Yeah.
1 gold.
Some
for
bullshit.
Is that good?
When I throw in
a barter would be better.
throw in a short sword, make it
Also,
15 gold.
I don't
Nice.
think gold is the problem.
oh god. I have a light crossbow.
Short sword and dagger, 9 gold.
Make it 10.
9 gold.
I have a side question.
Okay.
Would I need a light crossbow? Like, what's the benefit?
You wouldn't really,
Okay.
I'm not going anywhere.
unless like you want to switch to strictly
I was
crossbow.
gonna say.
Unless it's a sister
Maybe
thing.
I'll
Like she's gonna use her bow, I'm gonna use the crossbow.
You might just want to have it just in case, like for you run out of arrows.
But then you need to buy bolts for it. So you're carrying a quiver of arrows and a quiver of bolts. It's annoying.
I kind of
No, I
feel
don't
like
think
I
for
would
one.
never use it, because then it's different.
You can sell it off.
It's different attack and all that stuff too, right? So, I don't know.
It's
Mildred. We have an offer you can't refuse.
I also
Okay.
have a light crossbow.
That
to sell.
bell is atrocious.
It's the only bell I have.
Listen, a good ringing bell,
Yeah.
it'll help you out. 12 gold for a dagger
Short sword,
and a bell.
a working bell.
He stares at his bell for a long time. He's fine.
Oh,
Sold.
perfect.
I'm gonna literally plop the short sword off.
And here's
On
the
the
dagger,
counter.
and here's your bell.
Does he have a visible inventory?
Oh yeah. What are you looking for specifically?
A spell book.
You're looking for a spell book, right?
Put that in the group goal.
He has many empty books. They look. Actually, make an investigation check. What is it?
7.
He has books.
Perfect.
They're
Alright.
empty. They're essentially empty books that you can copy into.
Are there any arrows?
They're investigation check.
Oh boy.
So if you put it in the group,
Investigation.
do I add it to mine?
6.
They're in there. You know, it'll probably take him a bit to get up and go fetch you a couple arrows, but I'm sure he'll get you some.
Or do we just split
Bildrith,
it?
is there anything specific you've been wanting to get rid of for a while?
Do you want to split it?
No,
Okay.
just
But then in your character.
I.
Okay.
On
He kind of just he looks
Add
around
to your
absent-mindedly.
Okay,
Just,
got it. Okay.
I
Yeah,
have a
let's split it.
store
Okay.
you can
And then I'll
you
look
find
at
you
the
buy.
Group one.
Okay, I'm getting bored, so I'm going in.
Okay.
What's taking you guys?
Yeah, I was taking you guys to let go.
Do we get the
Can
arrows
I,
maybe?
can I chat with
Well,
you, Mr.
come.
Mildred?
The
Ah,
door
welcome.
the door with the. Are you guys gonna fix the bell?
I'm gonna take my arrow.
Okay.
And I'm gonna
Tallest
shoot
of us.
the bell down. I'm gonna shoot it right off.
All right.
Can she collect this arrow?
collect the
I will
arrow.
take
You
this
don't
arrow
like the
back.
area.
Also.
Say for flair, she shoots the arrow off the thing and he goes, "Good thing I bought new bell."
Yes.
Oh, hello.
Hi there, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you. You?
I'm alright.
What can I do for
Okay,
you?
I'm alright. I'm doing well here. You know, just cruising around, waiting for my team.
Lots of things to buy.
Yeah, well, it's too much if you ask me.
Uh,
So much to look at.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
You eventually find some arrows.
Oh, good.
Here's my question here.
Yeah.
Do you have any booze?
Yes. And he looks under his table and he pulls up a little bottle that's already uncorked and he goes,
Windshield wash fluid.
"Plenty."
Oh, he's a drinker. Where'd you get that?
Yeah.
And he puts it down.
You need one of
Any
those.
chance I can
Do you gifts.
Barter with
Do you
you
fix
for a
those?
sample of those gifts.
Just go to the bar.
The
The
what?
tavern.
The bar? Where?
Bar.
The tavern. Blood on the Vine is the tavern. You'll
What's the
see.
name?
We're all like,
Okay.
there's a
What's the name?
tavern.
Thank you very much, sir.
Who
Welcome.
runs the tavern?
I give him 1 copper piece as a thank you.
Anything like you?
Per piece.
He goes, now I can retire.
Oh.
And he puts
I just roll my eyes and walk out.
Is there anything else?
I have Tweedle Goblin studded leather armor. Are you interested?
He looks at it and he goes,
It's quite nice.
Kinky.
it's 2 gold.
2 gold,
Yes,
but it's not gold, it's leather.
I understand.
Okay. 2 gold?
You get the feeling that this guy's like not gonna pay you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he'll pay out for whatever you want to sell, but you're like, I know what this is worth, and
Not too gold.
that's like heavily undercutting what it's actually worth.
Do you have something against Drow?
Not at all.
Oh god, he's playing the racist
Mm.
card.
Okay,
Based on that, based on that price point, I don't know.
Is there any other I can't do any other check for the spell book, I guess, right?
No.
Okay.
Maybe
Well,
you can try to
thank you.
persuade him. Can
Enjoy
do
your
like
bell.
Welcome.
Would he
Didn't
be
one
able
of
to do
us
like a
collect his
persuasion
spell
to try to persuade you into
Somebody
like,
did.
He tried, but he's already
Oh,
leaving.
wizard?
No, that's what I'm wondering.
It was.
It's a wizard book they
It was
found.
in the
It was either
chest.
Nira or it was.
Buy.
Save you some money.
Arrows?
Someone's got
Yes.
a books.
I don't think
would
I
like
got
to
it.
Fira, did you take the
buy-
wizard's book?
Well, first, how much are they?
Well, he's got
And what kind of
he's
arrows?
got a quiver of arrows.
Okay.
We took
They're
it out of
40
the
gold.
chest.
Somebody, one of you guys, whoever
Yeah.
took it,
Yeah,
somebody
it's
took
That's
it.
right.
You, I think it's you
I
two
did
did.
take the books.
Yeah. Give it to Bella.
And
Sing
you
us
know
something.
Well, I already
that
left,
is
so
that
I'm
is
just outside reading
grossly
the book.
overpriced.
Yeah, I'm outside
He
now.
pulls the book out.
Oh, you are?
Guess we're leaving.
Hmm?
Guess we're leaving without anything.
Arrows,
So odd. I can't.
1 quiver,
I can't-
40 gold.
Can't make heads or tails of this book. What does it even mean?
I'm,
40 gold.
I'm standing
Yeah.
outside, and as
Kind
one of
of
them
arrows.
opens the door, I hear that, and I start
Oh,
laughing.
yeah.
Regular
Regular.
arrows.
Gold.
Do you make much money, sir?
Plenty.
Oh,
How many?
I trade with Visanti. Selling is
How many?
not common. I trade for goods.
trade.
See, that's what I was
With
trying to get
Visanti,
at.
yes.
So I was telling you guys.
Or
Okay.
He doesn't care
Vistani,
about
sorry.
gold. He wants to trade.
So,
Trade.
if I could trade, could I trade my crossbow,
I just don't want to
my light crossbow for arrows?
Yeah, he'll look at your crossbow. Let me see. It's a light crossbow?
Yeah.
I need to scout.
Yeah, he'll look at your light crossbow and he'll kind of hold it up and he'll go. Okay. And he'll give you a bundle of 20 arrows. It's not even a quiver. It's literally wrapped in like what you can tell is an old sheet fabric that might have ripped up. Here. And he just plops it in front of you and he says, straight up.
Feel like I'm
Thank you
also
so
being
much
ripped
for
off.
coming.
I feel like 100% ripped off there.
Well, you can check the arrows if you want.
Can I check the arrows?
Yeah, of
Yes.
course.
Also, you didn't
They're
need
fletched
a crossbow.
fine, like-
Yeah.
You needed arrows.
From what you're used to using for arrows, they're fletched fine. They're pretty straight. They're standard built arrows.
They don't sell good though, so they don't really help as much.
Nothing really spectacular about them, but nothing really. They're not crooked or like you're not looking at arrows that kind of do that. Like they'll fly straight and true.
Okay. But they're not silvered, so it doesn't.
No, they are
They're not useful at the moment.
not. No, they. Just because they're
They're
not
still
silver
useful.
doesn't mean they're not useful.
To
right?
well, for what we need.
For werewolves.
Well, it depends on what you're.
specifically.
Werewolves, specters, ghosts,
Yeah.
shit like that. Things you need to hit with magical weapons.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll take them.
Cool.
Sure.
Thank you.
Do them a favor.
Anything else?
Enjoy the bell.
Adios.
Oh, I have one question.
Deuces.
Did you notice the fog last night?
And he chuckles to you and he goes, I've noticed fog every night.
Oh. Okay. Where do you, where does everybody go at night when the fog comes?
The fog never leaves.
But it's a lot lighter this morning.
It's because it's morning. Actually, it's night, if you think about it.
Okay.
It's early evening.
Right.
almost close to 3/4 day.
Let's get to the tavern.
Do you know where the fog comes from? Has it
Yeah.
always been here?
The demon Strahd.
I'm sorry?
Have a good day.
Demon Strahd.
And as that, he kind of like takes his new crossbow and he waddles away, kind of just walking. Takes the crossbow and just goes, tunk, puts it on the shelf, goes into the back, comes out with a price tag,
Yeah.
little piece of chalk on a thing, 425 gold, and he hangs on top of the cross. Walks back to his,
Wow.
sits, begins reading. Nothing really spectacular.
What a guy.
We got Shway.
Okay, thank you.
No, that's alright.
Okay,
So-
bye.
Sorry, what's the name of the
How
book?
useful was that?
The pub?
Yeah.
Blood on the Vine.
I don't know.
Tavern.
What's
Look
Demon
at- I see
Well,
what
how
you did
did
there.
it
What's Demon Strahd?
Like a place?
I don't know.
Can
It's
I?
the demon Strahd.
So I have like a high history.
But you were
Mhm.
outside.
No, he just told me.
Oh.
I asked him what happened.
What's Demon Strahd?
So can I do like a check for that?
Yep.
Okay.
Roll. Are you trying to recall what that is?
Yeah.
Ah,
Go ahead and roll history.
So that's a 10.
10?
Yeah, I rolled blue.
It's familiar, but you have a hard time, like, really recalling what it actually is.
you're putting it?
Okay.
Okay. Oh yeah, as I'm
Oh,
standing there
shit.
finding difficulty to read this book, I turn to Belros and I'm like, Belros,
Hi.
hi there. Can you make heads or tails of this book? And then I hand it to you.
I thank you. What?
Which
It's a
book is
wizard
it?
book.
Actually,
What's the name? Oh, yeah, what's the
roll
name?
Arcana for me.
Oh. It's better than.
15.
15? Yeah, as you pull it up, you do notice it is wizard spells.
Perfect.
As you're looking in the book, the spells aren't familiar to you, but in your studies of the arcane, you've read of these types of spells. You're like, ooh, like you know that wizards study classes of magic, and this book seems to be evocation. That's what you can determine. It is a early, essentially what would be like not a wizard in training, but like a young wizard making his way, like early spells. It is a evocation spell book.
Okay. Do you know how many spells are in it?
I do.
Do I?
No.
Okay.
You're reading it. You can't actually discern the nature of the spells yet. You will.
Okay. Thank you.
Here.
And it's Barros.
Oh, sorry.
I go to
Harder.
I go to Belros and ask.
It's not a silent R.
Yeah, or a throaty R. It's a
Oh.
I'll take
I
that.
can't do it.
I'll
You
take
can't
that
roll
book
your
back.
R.
I'll take
Gross.
I'll take
There
my
we
book
go.
back.
Ross.
Belros. Got it.
Take my book.
Would you be able to hold on to 14 arrows for me?
I can.
As I micromanage my arrow.
I'll give you 1 gold piece rent for it.
I accept.
1 gold? Why did you start at a gold?
It's an inside joke
Oh,
It's a very
that we have.
It's an inside-outside D&D joke.
I see.
Inside, outside, USA.
It's a very,
Okay,
If you don't know that reference,
yes,
you're
it's,
too young.
so can I
It's a very expensive.
put 34 for my quantity, but then I guess
Yes.
just
You're only using 20 at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you all exit?
So
I was outside.
You're outside,
yeah,
right?
we've all slowly made our way outside.
To the tavern.
There's
To
a
the
tavern.
tavern?
How many did you give me? 12?
Well, if you go outside and you
14.
look immediately to your, what you will, the north, because as you walk out, you basically walk out facing west, and if you look south, it's the way you were already traveling, and if you look north, you'll see the opening of a tiny little court that's there, and you'll see a little sign also that's kind of just swinging there. Looks like it says Blood on the Vine, you're not sure. But you can hear a little bit of human activity coming from there.
Sphero just like beeline.
Yeah.
As he starts to run, I just turn to them and I say, "Oh, so you guys found a tavern, it seems."
What are we doing?
We're gonna walk towards the tavern.
Walk towards the tavern?
I run to the tavern.
Yeah. Hydrate.
Come on.
Alright, so you get to the tavern. A single shaft of light thrusts illumination through the main square. Its brightness looking like a solid pillar in the heavy fog. Above the gaping doorway, a sign hangs precariously askew, proclaiming this to be the Blood on the Vine Tavern. I'm going to take a quick pause right there.
I'm just gonna
Okay.
take
I'm gonna-
Watching you connect over here.
We're starting the recordings, yes, while you're connecting.
I'm done. I don't want to take it.
When you said that to me today, I laughed out loud. I forgot about connipting.
Connipting?
Connecting
It
is
was
the
a
greatest
really
thing.
rough conversation that happened once upon a time.
Conniption. Let's see here.
It's usually
A fit
started
of
by
rage or
Robert Butler.
hysterics. Oh, that's cool. That's a
Alright.
cool word.
Are you guys,
Definitely gonna add that.
so you're out in front of the bar, yeah?
Yep.
I'm gonna put that. Oh, I'm gonna put that in my notes.
Alright, so as you head out, your monk just takes off towards what essentially would be the Blood on the Tavern bar. Are you following him?
I want to walk up beside him and whisper to him, "Don't get too drunk, because
I'm already in the bar. What do you mean?
don't slip up. We have to keep it a secret. So hold yourself together."
I'll do my best, but I'll try my darndest.
I will physically remove you from this place if you start.
It's not very nice.
It does not matter.
At the
I
monastery.
whispered
they
in
taught
your
me
other
that
ear
every-
that she doesn't have banishment, so she can't physically remove you. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
And I'm just gonna stare at her and be like, "Can you just go away? This is actually important."
And then they start arguing. I just kind of
Going
like
to the
back
bar?
out. I go to the pub owner.
So we're all going into the bar?
Into the bar. Yes.
I need a drink.
Alright, you walk into the bar, and it looks like how the outside feels. It's drab, dreary, gray. There's a fire and a hearth going into the corner. You see it is occupied. At one table closest to you on the right, there are 3 very colorfully dressed women. You can see bright purples and pinks and blues and yellows just emanating off of their clothes. Jewels and little baubles hanging from the stitchings inside of their sashings and stuff like that. Very beautiful women. Off to the left, there's a very somber looking individual. Very handsome, but very somber. Blonde, grizzled, just sitting there enjoying a bottle and a glass to himself. Not slouched or anything, very proper, just enjoying his glass, seeming to just focus on his own thoughts. And there's a barkeep as well. The barkeep is blank-faced, empty, just kind of sitting there doing one of those with the glass. What y'all do?
I'm gonna go talk to the barkeep.
Alright, so you walk up to the barkeep.
Alright. Hi there. How are you doing today?
Nods.
Alright. He is such a downer.
As you just randomly say out
Um,
loud.
This guy turns around and talks to us.
Alright. How are you doing today? Are you okay, sir?
Puts the glass down, reaches for another.
Alright.
I come over
can I get
and
a-
I say, "What are you drinking tonight, Pharaoh?"
Oh, you're the lady's choice.
All right.
I also come
Do
up
you have
to
ale? We need
Puts-
three
puts-
ale.
Puts the glass down, he turns around. Takes 3 glasses, puts them in front of you, just pushes them towards you. Copper each.
Do you want to start a tab?
Oh,
Yeah,
should we start?
let's start a
You're
tab.
Okay, let's start a tab.
Can we start a tab?
Are we able to
Pulls
start
the glasses and the bottles back,
Oh,
puts the
shit.
glasses.
Okay, here.
No,
Here,
it's
copper.
okay. We'll
Those
just
are
wait. We'll
copper.
just wait. Shut up. Wow.
Jeez, someone's temperamental.
God damn.
Tight ship here.
Who's paying for these coppers?
The downer and
Copper a glass,
mental.
silver for the bottle.
You want the bottle?
Yeah, let's take the
Let's
bottle.
Yeah,
the
let's just take
bottle.
the bottle. How much is the bottle?
Silver.
1 silver.
I give you a silver.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll put that on my
Awesome.
He
We
just
go and find a
blankly
table.
stares forward. Actually, all three of you make a perception check.
What are we perceiving?
Wow.
Oh no.
Yeah, 2.
So we're receiving nothing.
21.
21?
Oh, wow.
You notice that after he finishes cleaning the glasses, he just picks up the first one that he originally started cleaning and begins cleaning it again. Just blank stare. He's just cleaning the same glasses over and over again.
Okay.
I would like to go sit with the handsome, long-haired man.
Handsome long-haired man.
Yeah, because he's by himself and he looks suspicious.
So you walk over.
He looks suspicious.
You walk over and you sit down. He immediately looks up and he says, "Sit, drink. Drink with me."
Oh, thank you. I got free alcohol, guys.
He sits down and he says, You're new here." And he pours you a drink, puts the bottle down, holds a glass to you.
Thanks.
He enjoys his drink. He says, "What brings you here?"
We're on our way to... What's the town that we're on our way to? Oh no, we're looking for something. I'm mixing it with some critical role. We're just wandering through. We came to town last night and it was very foggy. And
He's very confused. No one passes through Barovia willingly.
I didn't say willingly that we came here, but we're here.
Huh. And he motions to the rest of you, looks over at Mar, and he says, "Come, sit, drink." No.
She had a rough.
Sitting
She's not
literally
drinking.
at my table.
She's had a
You're at
rough
another
day.
table, like kind of opposite.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
kind of
so
go down.
pissed.
You sit and you kind of look at the bartender, and he's just, no one's gonna serve you drinks.
She had a rough day. She's not really in the best of moods.
I say
So-
we go over to her with the bottle.
Over to Mara?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll make
We
your way
don't
to
have
Mara.
4 glasses, but she gets the bottle. Or
Uh,
I give her my glass.
As you're all walking through Belros, you feel a tug at your robe. You turn around and there's the 3 women that are sitting off to the right of you immediately are like,
Hey.
they're staring at you right away.
Perfect. I was gonna go over there anyway.
Wide smiles.
You should do
What
it.
do you do when they grab you?
First of all, I turn to see who grabs me, and I
You see 3 very beautiful, very colorful women.
I smile.
They smile back.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I say hello. I'm Belros. Who are you?
Emphasize the
And they all look at each other very like exaggeratedly, like. Da, darling. As they look at you. The one in the center, she's Mirabelle. This is Alenka. And this is Sorvia. But I am Mirabelle. It's so fun to meet you.
It is fun, yeah.
Sit. And they pull on you to sit with them.
Guys, I'm going to sit with these 3 girls.
And they begin conversing with you, just odds and ends here and there.
Can I
And
talk?
go back to them. Or what did...
I wanted to go up there and talk to them about the path of the Lord and
Try to converse them.
There you go over there talking about...
I kind of want to, yeah.
All right.
Let's go call them.
Make your way over there.
I'm going to cast Minor Illusion.
Okay, cast Minor Illusion and...
What a cock.
And, I don't know, create...
An aura around
I'm gonna create a mirror image of, like, the wall.
just a little wall.
Just a wall in front of them.
Appears in front of them. And they look at you, and the second you cast magic, they go,
Oh,
"It is magic.
Yeah.
Show us tricks. Show me something."
That's good for now.
And they'll pressure you, and they'll keep, as that conversation is going on, and you're like, "Why isn't anybody looking at me?" They'll keep asking you about magic and the arcane and stuff like that. And we'll go back to, actually, we'll go to you while you're brooding at the table. Brooding is going to be the popular word. So while you're brooding at the table, what's going through your mind? What are you doing?
We're gonna call this
I'm realizing
brood sesh.
something's happening, and I want to drink my potion of mind reading while they're walking towards the table.
Oh shit!
No.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
All right.
Take a big
So what does the
swig
potion
of
do?
alcohol.
It just says when you drink this potion, you gain the effect of Detect Thoughts spell. So the DC save DC 13. So,
Okay.
the potion's
this
dense
bitch has
liquid
a-
as it
Is there?
What's
That's all it says.
what's the save on it?
Meditative
And
state.
what's the range?
Is there?
Oh, she'll be able to.
Is there any way I could snatch it out of her hand before I like
So for the duration, I
take
can read the thoughts of certain creatures. When you cast a spell and as you action on each turn until the spell ends, you can focus your mind on any one creature that you can see within 30 feet.
But
If
one
the creature you choose has an intelligence of 3 or lower or doesn't speak any language, the creature is unaffected. I really
Who's
hope
really
someone's
intelligent?
Well, I don't think it's an intelligence save because you said it's the detect thoughts, right?
Oh.
She only gets to pick one of you, so whoever it is, you better roll well.
There's ever a time to roll a 20.
Okay. You initially learn the surface thoughts of the creature, what is most on its mind moment. As an action, you can either shift your attention. What is it?
Most of our mind right now is
Oh, you're on detect thoughts?
drinking.
Oh no, potion of mind reading.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I know,
detect
but
thoughts.
they
Yeah,
said it's
detect
the detect thoughts
Yeah.
spell, right?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go ahead and check the spell. This is fun. Oh, he doesn't eat any of the pieces. He just spits them out. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
this is
good.
saying what it is.
Brian's dog ate she ate some shitter the other. She ended up eating like what was it, floss? And they ended up having to like get her
Like
to do surgery to
Yeah.
cover her
Dental
stomach.
floss?
Yeah,
What?
dental
I
floss.
love this. This is gonna be so much fun.
So what's
Questions verbally directed at the target creature naturally shape the course of its thoughts, so this spell is particularly effective as part of an interrogation.
So you really want to use it on us?
Yeah,
Are you
not,
sure?
not another person.
I'm feeling very left out. I know
Why?
something's
We're coming
going
Why
on.
are you
to
feeling
you.
left out?
We're coming to you with
so as you
with a
drink your
drink.
potion, what is the spell save DC? That's the thing. What does it say?
Doesn't say.
I'm gonna
Check
call, what do you
God,
call
for
that,
that one
metagame?
Oh, it's a wisdom. It's a
For
wisdom
that
save.
one time.
Oh yeah,
you
wisdom
stick
saving
wisdom
with
throw.
it,
save.
whatever.
So, whose thoughts are you trying to detect?
Oh no.
Oh, it's true. She can only pick one person.
Nira.
Nira?
Oh, shit.
Nira, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
This better not go to waste.
Can I help her?
No.
Oh.
You want to know the bad part about this?
No.
It's at disadvantage because you don't know this is coming.
I know.
Oh, it's just rolls once.
Well,
Roll again.
13.
Roll again.
okay.
And take the lower.
Oh.
Yeah.
What? 11.
11.
Okay.
The DC's your spell save DC, which is what?
Oh, please, please,
It's not low.
oh, no.
So if you look under
We didn't
your
make it very
spells and your
far.
actual character,
My actual
so if you go to your character, some of your spells will have a spell save DC. It should be a number. What's your spellcasting modifier?
+4.
No, but what is the actual? Is it wisdom, intelligence? What is it again?
It just says spell casting modifier.
I really should start writing because D&D Beyond, although
I know,
awesome.
It's good, but nothing beats that. Nothing beats the sheet. I will help you find it. This is also bad for me because I can't remember
Sorry,
what a
what's the
paladin's.
potion?
I can't remember what a paladin's spellcasting modifier is.
Mara, what's the name of the potion?
Detect.
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 detect
It's
thoughts?
a potion of mind reading.
Detect thoughts, yeah, potion of mind reading.
And Mara, I'm gonna go ahead and view you right now.
Where do you find paladins in here?
Be under classes.
Okay. But would it be in there?
Yeah, it would be in there definitely. Big up, easy, easy. Okay. Your spell save DC is going to be 14.
Okay.
So you 11, right? So you fail. So you're now reading Mara's thoughts, or Mara is now reading Nira's thoughts. So as you're walking up to Mara, you're thinking of the secret that you're trying to hide from her, obviously.
I thought we were thinking about getting very, very drunk.
No, unfortunately not.
Drunk.
So as you're thinking, you're essentially replaying. So what you read in her mind, if I may take the liberty, if you don't mind. She's thinking of the entire scene playing out, and the actual mouse sitting there being stabbed. Who actually stabbed the mouse?
She did.
It was she. You did, right? The mouse being stabbed. As the mouse is stabbed, you watch the mouse turn to a drow, profess its confusion and disdain for the situation, and then die. You have no idea this is happening, but you can see Mara's look going. And now there is this glare happening.
See, I didn't go
As
through
you
that.
walk over with the shots, like, yes! I got. Oh, shit. What happened? Yes! I got. Make a perception check.
Oh, please.
Can I?
Just
You-
walk away.
No, you failed the DC. You don't know what's going on.
Let me know when I do.
Yeah.
That would be a fucking 6. What did you say?
Perception.
9.
Mara looks upset. You're not sure why.
Okay.
Girl.
Mara,
Eating you.
you just. What would
What's
you
with
like
the
to?
RBF?
What would you like to do?
See, this is why we went and sat with strangers.
Oh.
Only three glasses, eh, guys?
But you
Got
got
a
the
lot on your
bottle.
mind.
I get the bottle, she gets the glass.
Oh.
So way to just assume that you weren't included.
Are you trying to hide the fact that you're just?
No,
like,
I'm
how are
like
you
literally
feeling?
like going in between each one.
How are
like,
you feeling right now?
Anger and confusion.
Okay.
Anger because they hid something from me.
Yes.
Confusion because how did I not figure this out earlier?
Okay.
What's on
Way
your
to go
mind?
perception checks. I don't know, what's on your mind?
Can I see?
That's a loaded question. right
You're not
there.
trying. You don't really know what's going on yet, so you're not trying to. You're trying to ascertain what's happening, and with that perception roll, you don't know.
Okay, so I put the glass in front of her and pour her a drink,
Okay.
and then it's just like, here, maybe
Down the
this will
whole
help.
thing, one shot.
Without blinking.
She's staring.
It's uncharacteristic of your paladin.
So I give her. We all kind of share a look. The three of us share a look, and we're kind of like,
Oh no, Farrah left. It's just
Let's
a
get
baby.
down to brass
Oh, right,
tacks.
sorry.
What happened in the dungeon?
Well, no, I see a wall in front of me, so I just came back.
you are the wall. I think.
No.
No, okay.
No, it's just in front of him. So she asks.
I'm asking. That's just my characteristic. I just get straight down to business, face problems head on. So I'm just gonna be direct.
Okay.
I know something happened, and I need to know what. I can't be a part of this group without knowing who to trust.
I'm not there.
I'm with
No,
you.
I'm just.
We.
And Firo comes back too.
Okay.
Hero comes in like, those girls are shit. I didn't even want to talk to them.
Jeez, they didn't even want to hear about the lore. Total turn off.
I mean, good book is a good time, right?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, we faced some tough decisions in there.
Can I do a perception check to see if?
No, you
No.
can tell Mara's pissed.
Okay.
Now
I
it's like
I pour her another drink.
Okay.
And I pour drinks for the rest of them.
I'll
We
take the
sit
bottle.
down because I think we realize that I think we're gonna have to come clean
The
here.
jig is up.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's probably better to come clean now than to continue lying because it seems like
When she's like, show me the mouse. I don't have it.
yeah, which might happen. So
Mara, you're essentially in control of this situation, so
yeah,
What do you
so we just sit
Interrogate.
down and I think I'll ask like, what do you want to know?
What happened in the dungeon? Something stopped the monster from eating me. And you all were silent. This morning you were all silent. You all walked away.
Do you want to take the lead on this one? No. Okay. I think I'm just gonna be straight up, and I'm gonna be like,
So
look, what happened was that you were gonna die, and we had to sacrifice some things for you not to die, and it ended up being Mussolini. Nira sacrificed him, and then on the altar he turned into a drow, which none of us knew he was. And since then, it's been a pretty dark day.
Except for us, we're out partying.
And it'd just be like, we didn't know, and we had to do what we needed to do to save you
And keep our group together.
and keep our group together. You're our captain, and we couldn't let you get taken by the garbage pile. Whatever it's called.
Garbage.
And then I take a drink.
A nice
As do
long.
I.
Nice long drink.
The wine that you're drinking
Oh no.
is horrible.
Oh, okay.
It tastes bland and just
I'll try not to spit it.
ashen. Like it's terrible.
Oh boy.
But it's booze,
Okay.
so
Not
it'll
poisoned.
do the
Okay.
job.
Not poison.
Not poison.
I was worried about. Okay. I try not to spit it out and just take another swig.
I think I'm sort of just taking all of this in. Because they killed something good.
Okay, I guess I can. I
You don't know if it was good or not. You just know that, like the way
They
you.
feel bad. Look, from the vision I'm seeing in her brain, it looked like it trusted her.
You're trying to see that's your struggle now. Is you're trying to ascertain that situation.
happened?
What happened? They're telling you exactly what
Yeah.
happened,
But
and
it's
you know
not
they're
real.
not lying to you. You can also tell that they did keep it from you to kind of spare your overreactions, which you tend to do.
The main,
You're sitting there. It fuels you. And what did you want to do?
Oh, I just wanted to kind of try to reassure her, I guess.
Feel
And
free.
be like, at the end of the day, what transpired wasn't necessarily what we thought would happen. We did not know that Mussolini was actually a drow. Nira didn't know that either, and she's been with him for so long. It seems wrong to
Which also
weigh a mouse's life versus yours at a different.
Life's a life, though.
and you kind of make that connection right as he says that. It's like, wow, she had that mouse for 100 years. To all of you is a rat. To her is a cute little mouse. But you can also see that Nira's not really hiding the expression on her face. It's stern, but you know her lavender eyes. You know those eyes. You know the pain. You know when they're happy. You know when they're evil. You know when they're mischievous. And right now they're in pain. You know it wasn't a choice she wanted to make. But then again, it's your internal struggle. Nira, what are you thinking right now? Your internal monologue, what is it saying?
I'm just thinking about Mussolini,
Mhm.
and I would do anything to get him back.
Because that's what's ringing through your head, because you're still reading her thoughts. So as she's saying what she's saying to you, there's this underlying tone playing in your head, which are her thoughts. As you fight back your pain and your loss, wanting to get him back, thinking of ways
That's
to
all
get
I'm
him
thinking is, what can I do? Will there be a chance to get him back?
I think at this point, I fill a glass and pull it over to her,
back.
slide it over. I think.
That bottle's empty right now, by the way. After that glass, it's empty.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
empty. I think that's enough for Mara,
Okay.
knowing that she didn't want to, but she had to.
Okay. You'll spend some time in prayer and reflection about it, for sure.
Some deep feelings going on at this table right now.
We'll go over to Yesenia. who's sitting there talking to the ruggedly handsome man who is just very interested on why exactly you're here.
I'm going to ask him his name. So what's your name?
Name Ismark.
Ismark, I'm Visenya.
It's lovely to meet you.
It's a pleasure. How do you spell it?
I-S-M-A-R-K.
Okay, as it sounds. And are you from the town?
Yes. Lived here since my father was here, and his father before, and his father preceding him.
It's quite a quiet town. It's not
It's
much.
quite dreary.
What's the reason for that?
And he kind of sits back and he just leans and... The reason is because we are all trapped here.
Oh. Really? Does it have to do with that fog?
Yes, very much so. The fog, the devil Strahd, all of it. Designed to keep us here. And he spits on the floor in this god-forsaken, abandoned land.
And the Devil's Strahd, it keeps coming to mind. Like I can recall it, but I can't quite get my hands on it.
An evil being, a demon, who keeps us here for his own entertainment. Cursed, whatever you want to call us. And he takes another drink. Half of us don't even have souls anymore because there's not enough to go around. As he says that, he says, "Look at poor Eric." And he points to the barkeep, who, for the 9th or 10th time, is cleaning the exact same set of glasses. Eric, born without a soul. Like many in Barovia. No more souls. Only so few to go around. Some walk around looking like shells. Others come and go as they please. And he shoots a look over to the women that are sitting with Belrose. He goes, "Ugh," in disgust.
This is gonna sound like a very strange question, but are there any cults in this town?
Take your pick.
Oh, so it's like a common thing.
Plenty. Mainly one. But they keep to themselves most of the time.
Do they happen to live? And I kind of point toward the direction of the house that we were at the night before. Do they happen to be in that place sometimes?
That place hasn't been lived in years, but nothing surprises me in this town anymore. He takes another drink, spits again on the floor. What are you doing here?
Would you believe me if I told you we were sent to kill some werewolves?
Don't know nothing about werewolves. Haven't seen a werewolf here
The
in
house cult. The cult that was
centuries.
chanting in the basement. We don't know. Oh, lost clear.
We haven't seen a werewolf here in centuries.
Really?
But other wolves, plenty. Dire wolves by the thousand, probably. We don't know. Strahd sends many of his pets along all of the town side.
Interesting.
You can't escape. You were drawn here. And now you can never leave. Avida.
Wait. Just backtrack a little bit. What do you mean?
What?
I mean, we came, we can leave as we might.
No, you can't. You can never leave.
But what about the women over there? You said they come and go as they please.
They are very different.
Why?
They are within the demon's blessing, the Visanti. And he spits generally in their direction.
I'm just gonna kind of look over to where Belrose is.
There's a wall there. You can't see anything.
Servants of the demon.
It's only a 5-foot wall, though.
Oh, it's 5.
You could have easily walked around it.
Their story about them and Strahd is not one I care to tell, or even have taken the time to know. But from what I tell, he favors them. They can come and go as they please, bringing more people to occupy Barovia.
And that cult that we were discussing, do they have a name?
Never ran into them personally.
Sounds probably like a good thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna shoot, hold my glass up for a cheers.
So as that conversation is going on, go back to
But I'm
Belrose.
kind of still looking at
Yeah.
Belrose
These women are... They're hanging on, man. Like, but they
Eating
seem
you up.
genuinely interested in what you're talking about. You're just generally going to flare. Yeah, I come from the Underdark. No big deal. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I see in the dark and all
Giving
that
all
kind
your
of jazz.
All right.
Yeah, especially Mirabelle, like the middle of the three. Like, so what are you doing here? How did you get here?
Well, we walked a very long distance.
And they all kind of look at each other. Of course you did.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you enjoying Barovia?
No, it's awful.
Oh, it's not that bad. Don't you love our bar?
No, not. I mean, it's okay.
Is the wine not good? And she pours you another glass.
The wine is fine. Your company has been fine.
Oh, and you're so sweet.
Fine.
Aside from that, this place is not desirable.
Oh, it can get very boring at some times.
Well, it's not boring.
Anything but.
And I'm still kind of like looking at him, and like I'm trying to kind of like get his attention. I'm just like,
So, ladies, what's the deal with your dresses? You look very
And they all get up.
put
and
together.
As they all get up, they all spin around like as just to give you a 360 of what they're wearing. Very proud of what they're wearing. These are but humble clothing for the Vistani.
I can't see. I get that. Being from the House of Billy. I'm kind of looking around at this point, trying to see where everyone else is at. Where are we at here? How long has this been, roughly?
I guess 4 of
It's
us
probably
are-
been about 20 minutes. And as they're talking, they sit back down, they all look at each other, and they go, "It's so lovely to speak with you. Unfortunately, we are bored." And they get up and just walk back behind the bar, pat Eric on the head as they walk past, and just disappear into the back rooms.
Damn it.
Balros! Balros!
See? Metagaming ruined my Mackin.
No, it's just what they do.
No, I couldn't get it out of my head. Okay.
Like you had a chance.
Alright.
All up in that.
Well, I'm just gonna sit here and finish my glass of wine then.
Yeah.
All by yourself?
Yeah.
No, he's there with his wall.
Yeah. No, it's gone now.
It's
only a minute.
It was hard for the long time it was there, and then they left. Now it's gone.
Yeah.
So,
Can I actually walk
finish
up
your
to him?
drink. You can walk up to him, yeah.
How'd it go?
They left.
Did you get their numbers?
No,
Get the
they
digits?
didn't have numbers.
No.
They didn't have-
There's no
No.
numbers for what?
No
What
sending
numbers?
stones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get their address.
Did you get their sending stone?
Did you get the name of their raven?
No.
No? Okay.
No, I didn't.
The name of their raven.
Although, okay, this guy Eric. What's the deal with this guy Eric? Is he the guy that was just kind of sitting to himself?
He's the.
No,
Oh, Eric's
he's
the
the
bartender.
Eric's
Oh,
the
Eric's
bartender.
Ismark is the one she's talking to right now.
And she's the only one who knows that
He has no
Eric stole
soul.
this.
And I've been
We
like,
just know that something's up with Eric.
I've been just like casually trying to get your attention while I'm holding a conversation,
He's not
but you're
I.
still ignoring.
Well,
I
as
guess
you're
we're having,
trying to do
having
that,
a
like,
conversation now.
At
Ismark
our
can take
table,
a cue.
no one's
Yeah.
talking at
No,
our
and
table.
so to put it in perspective, you have like where you walked in. You have you are sitting here. Ismark is here. You guys are here. So you're all within earshot of each other, kind of listening to conversations and stuff. So Ismark will kind of take it on, and he'll lean over and he'll go, "Friends of yours,
Actually, yes. We're
have
kind
them come drink with me. I have something I'd like to ask."
That's a good,
Guys, I think that my new friend Ismark would like to chat with us all. I think it's very beneficial if you all come over here.
I come sauntering over.
Very begrudgingly
Yeah.
A little depressed.
walk over.
And I kind of look at you guys like, what the fuck's up with
I feel
you
like
guys?
I'm mind fucked.
Do I? What's your insight?
My insight?
Yeah.
What are you trying to discern?
+5.
How beneficial this is?
That's not really something like you can. He's just talking. He's giving you a lot of information.
Okay.
Well, he's giving her a lot of
beneficial.
information.
Well, I don't know this.
You don't know this.
Yeah.
true.
All right, so I'm walking over.
We go over.
Sit down,
pounding
Happy.
this glass of wine.
It just, oh man, it's the worst glass of wine ever.
Wine.
But you know,
And I'm gonna
We had a
pull.
rough
I'm gonna
day.
kind of like pull him down and say, "I found out about the Devil's Strahd.
Oh yes.
Yes, and it's a demon, and those women are his friends, or they work for him or something.
Oh, that's okay.
No, not okay.
We can go there and clear the fog.
So as he leans over, he's like, hello.
Howdy.
Oh yes, and this is Mark.
Hello.
Yes, Mark. Nice to meet you.
Balros.
Lovely name.
Thank you.
First house name?
Yes.
It rings like a first house name. But
Back
you're
the bell away.
a magic
Oh.
user.
Could rang the bell.
As he looks, he goes, you're a magic user, aren't you? Oh.
It's
Interesting.
mostly tricks.
Mostly tricks?
Yeah.
As he looks you up and down, like... He's like, okay, mostly tricks. As he does that, he kind of waits for I guess the rest of you will make your way to the table.
Well,
Already
yeah.
at the table.
And Visenya, you're just gonna gloss over the fact that you can never leave, like the first thing.
Well, I haven't told them yet because they all
Okay.
just got here.
So he looks at you all and he says, I don't know what has brought you to Barovia. Nothing good, be sure of that.
Yes, he knows. I just told
Unfortunately, since you're stuck here for a while,
Stuck here.
I
sounds
feel
like
it.
forever.
I feel inclined to ask
I have to tell you something.
if you don't mind helping me in my time of need. A small favor. I know it feels like wherever you go, there is always someone saying, please, I need help. But in this situation, it is a bit dire and has to do with the Devil's Strahd.
Before we go any further,
Yes.
what do you know of the two children in the house?
Rose and her brother.
Yes.
A tragic tale. Parents consumed by the cult. Starved them to death. That's all I would really want to say.
Because they asked us for help.
Did you help them?
We tried.
Yet you're standing here, saying you helped them.
Okay.
As he goes through, he goes, Strahd has an affliction that he cannot cure. Not the obvious one, of course. And he kind of smiles to himself and takes a drink, swishes it, spits a bit of it out. No, his affliction is with my sister. Adopted sister. But nonetheless, sister. Irina. He visits her constantly. Always there with her, trying to take her from us. Infatuated, lustful. I need to get her to Vallaki, the city just west of here. There she'll be able to finally see our father, bury him, and we can move on through our lives. And hopefully keep the Devil's Strahd at a decent distance until we are ready.
It's Mark. I guess for everyone else to know too. You said we can't leave.
No, you can never leave.
How do we get your sister out if we can't leave?
No, you can't leave Barovia. This is the town of Barovia. You can't leave this country anymore. As you ask that question, as he says that, the table where the women were sitting, you see a little and a little puff of smoke. Not much, just a little shimmer of smoke. Almost like a flare that didn't need to be there, but now it's there. And as you look over, you see a man sitting there. Come, Miss Mark. Is that any way to treat my new guests? And he smiles very big at all of you. And he looks at Mara and he says, oh, I remember you. Let me see what you look like. And he's gone again. And he goes, yes, that asshole.
Was that the eyes I saw in the
Oh,
fog?
yeah. And the voice you heard. You've heard him before. Yes, he's a pain in the ass around here. You're all just bewildered that he's just playing this off like this happens all the damn time.
Can I show him the letter that we got?
Yes,
The
you can.
guy that died.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
So you show him the letter and he reads it over and he goes, "Ah, the burgomaster's son."
We found it on his person, I'm assuming.
So he did not make it.
He did not make it.
We told him he wouldn't. He did not listen. Such is life. Or death, whichever you prefer. Anyway,
So sorry, just to confirm, is he the master of the house?
who? Oh, the one you're talking to right now?
No, the Devil Strahd.
Devil Strahd is Strahd von. I can't remember his last
But he
name.
was the man that we saw the picture of, and then he appeared when we were fighting
Nope.
the
No.
armor. Oh, okay, this is someone different.
This is someone very different.
Oh God.
Where can we find him?
Find who?
Strahd.
Ha! You want to. I tell you what. On our way to Vallaki, if you'll help me, 3/4 of the way through the road, there is a castle. A gigantic castle that looms over all of Borovia. That is Ravenloft. You'll find him there.
Can you spell the name of the town?
B-A? Oh, sorry, you're going to Vallaki? It's
Yeah.
V-A-L-L?
Yep.
A-K-I.
So if we go on this quest, we're coming with you, or you'll join us?
If you help me get to Vallaki, I believe Strahd cannot reach us there. He can obviously reach me, my sister, and now you, here. However, in Vallaki, they don't ever see him. He never travels there. So, hopefully we will be out of sight and out of mind of the demon.
What makes you think he won't follow us?
When we visited my father during his height of his lust for my sister, he never visited. He never came to her in Vallaki. And now that our father has passed, we need to get back there. So that we can properly bury him in holy ground.
What's
Oh,
our
that's
benefit
why.
here?
So you're saying that Vallaki is holy, and
It's
that's
just
the
a
reason why
witness
he
sign.
can't get there.
Yes.
Do you know anything about the master of the house? The father of the children.
Cultist.
Yes.
That's all.
But have you seen him recently?
No, dead. Very long time.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Still not sure that it makes sense for us to go.
Where's your sister?
We have a purpose. Find the children.
Back at our home.
Where's your home?
He said there hasn't been one
Oh,
this year for
one
a long
sec.
time.
Okay.
I've been talking to him for a while. He said that there are many things that are here. Demons, all sorts of things, but no werewolves. Lots of direwolves, but no werewolves.
Were we even sure? That...
Oh, she's actually in the tavern. She's staying in a small room up at the top.
Okay.
So Ismark says, he goes, "You're new to Borovia, these lands. You don't know these lands. It would be beneficial to you to have me at least show you through where might be safe and where might not be." And as he does that, he leans back in his chair, like, not impressively, just leans back in it. He goes, "I used to be something back in my younger days." And he pulls out a dagger and just flicks it up in the air and catches it. And as he whips it across the room at essentially what is a wine bottle sitting on the table that you left, he splits the wine bottle in half as the dagger goes right into the wall. And he goes, "Something back in the day. How do you think I've lived this long?"
How old are you?
How old is this one?
Old.
Older than 150?
Not that old.
Hmm.
How old are you?
156.
You look so young.
Thank you.
He knows about drow. He's like, you look so young for your age.
Well, I gotta be honest. We kind of stumbled into this town
I don't think
on accident.
I don't think you understand. You don't just stumble into here. You were brought here.
Well, we've been brought here to search for missing children and werewolves, and that is our primary objective.
Where did you come from?
Where did we come from?
A tree? Oh, wait. No, not a tree.
Well, yes, technically.
Don't tell him that.
Oh, sorry.
Tramplers, wow. We're part of the Harpers.
But where are you from?
What was the first town we were in?
Great.
Something run. Bymont run.
That's right.
And he recalls in his head, and he goes, Bymont Run. The Run. And you can see him playing it over and over in his head, and he's, the Run. And then this smile comes over. It's almost like a very sad smile. It's like, oh, the Run. He stands up and he walks over to his dagger in the wall, and he pulls it off the wall. And he looks at all of you and he says, by Motheron. And he stabs it in the table. And he walks over to you. And he takes out another dagger and he puts it down and begins to spin it. And it doesn't stop spinning. He spins it so hard. All of you see this.
Okay.
And he goes, Barovia, you walked here? Tell me how you walked 5,000 miles in a night.
Pardon?
That's a great.
The fog.
The fog carried us here, I guess.
And he grabs the dagger. Help me and my sister. Look for your answers. But the only way to be safe is to march to the outskirts where we think he cannot get you.
If we're 5,000 miles, you said? If we're 5,000 miles away, we are far away from
I think this
our...
guy's talking shit. Can I do a...
Play check?
Yeah.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna ask him, do you happen to have a map?
I do not.
Okay.
But I'm sure you'll be able to find one.
Is there anyone in town I could go pick one up?
There's a mercantile
Oh,
down the road. You might have a map or two.
okay, I'll have to go
I got a
ask.
14.
14? I'm not rolling any dice. He's telling the truth.
Okay.
To the best of your knowledge, it's like, it kind of hits you like, oh shit, this dude's on the up and up. He has no reason to lie to you.
Well, Ismark, if me and my friends here have just a little chat,
Hmm.
you know, just to talk things over.
Take your time.
We-
You have nowhere to go. And he takes his glass and he drinks it and he goes, I'll be at the table over there.
Lovely.
And he points to his dagger that's in the table at the Bimotron. And he walks over, sits down, takes a drink, and just goes into mulling over his own thoughts like he was when you originally found him.
Okay, so if we're 5,000 miles away, we're not finding those kids.
No, I
And we're
would
not-
walk 5,000 miles
and
around.
we're not finding those werewolves.
As he's singing in the
Yeah.
at the table.
Behind us.
I would
I
walk
genuinely
5,000
I don't trust for most
Look
people,
over.
but
I would walk
I feel like this
5,000.
is beneficial for us. I really do.
I agree.
I mean, at this point, according to him, we can't leave. He's providing us tons of information about the town, about people here, and we know nothing.
and maybe
I
a
feel like
little
our
metagaming.
original.
It's called Curse of Strahd. So.
Yes. Obviously. I feel like
Sorry,
our original.
Irina is at the Burgomaster's mansion. Sorry. She's not in the tavern. You have to walk over to the mansion to get her.
The who?
The mansion that fell apart.
No.
Oh,
It's different.
I was like, we're not
I was
going
like,
back there.
we went to the Burgermeister's rest of Burger's house.
little DM tooltip. A Burgermaster is a Burgermaster. They are The mayors of the town.
Oh,
Oh,
burger
The township.
master.
A burger master.
Yeah, Burgermaster Meisterburger.
Funny enough, they all hold spatulas. And wear crowns made of gold that are inflatable.
Anyways.
Like,
But
a
I think
king
our
per
original
se.
mission was kind of like maybe a facade to get us to come here. There's no werewolves.
according to him,
I
there
didn't think there ever was.
We're here for another reason.
Melrose,
Let's go with
knew
it.
they was lying. They was lying.
I was
Let's
looking for
go.
kids the whole time. We found them. They dead.
We need to get out of this
Yeah,
place.
agreed.
Especially if we're 5,000 miles away,
I think we're stuck.
then there's not only that, the werewolves were an issue in Belmont Run. They're, well, yeah, they're not an issue here then.
I'm
Fair
sorry.
enough.
Mhm.
I think
I think we take it.
I also don't think we're 5,000 miles away. I think we're just,
Lost in a fog.
yes.
I don't know.
We're not
Just another
actually
round.
5,000 miles away. We're just not accessible to anything else but this place.
we can't leave. We're stuck
That's what I'm
We
saying.
need to remove the curse.
I'm down to go about this.
I think at this
My
point,
bounty hunter
it's only
background is ready for
Our
this.
only option.
And
Alright.
it's the only person we've really seen.
Werewolves, demons,
Also-
they're all evil, all the same.
Also,
They all gotta
down.
go.
And I think
most of the people here don't have souls. He's one of the few who does. So,
Well,
like,
that was passing conversation. Like, you don't know if he meant that literally.
okay, but I'm
or-
just gonna say that.
Yeah.
And just, the guy at the bar is a very common type of person around here. So I think we really need to try this, and if it doesn't work out, then we'll deal with that later. But
I have a hard question to ask. Do we go back and get a map from the merchant?
I mean, we probably should.
oh, we can come back. Like, he's not going anywhere. But I mean,
Well, he definitely doesn't want gold. Definitely
to
likes
trade.
trading. He's got things to trade.
I have.
That's if he has a map.
He'll probably have something. I have a chain
pulls out that book.
shirt and a crystal orb and
Oh, I got something.
You are not trading the hat.
Why not? We're 5,000 miles away.
Because it's a hat of disguise and it's a wondrous magic item.
Oh, and
I
also,
also
she
promised
I've
to
got-
bring it back.
oh,
Yeah,
to the
well-
people who sent us to the cursed town that we can't.
I've got a beautiful eye patch
It's a
with
rat.
a jewel.
What was
An
that?
iPad.
My eye patch with a jewel.
What was that worth?
50.
50 gold?
That's a very expensive map. I think we should start low.
Maybe he'll take
Are
the
any of us missing an eye?
No.
No.
Oh, the
No.
Maybe he'll
deed.
take the
Logic. Anyone missing an eye? No, we don't need that.
He's been wanting to get rid of that store
Does
for
anyone
a
have a
while.
hideous eye?
Give it.
the deed.
Yeah.
Should we
The
maybe?
deed. Do you still have the deed?
Yes. It's in my.
Have
Can we
you
maybe
checked on
not
it? Is it
trade
even
one
You
of
haven't
there?
checked on any of your items from that
It's not a
house.
valuable house.
Yeah.
It's garbage.
We
Can
don't
I-
know
can I look
anything
at the
about that.
doll?
We're the cult
ruins.
That's
heads.
what I mean.
The doll,
It's how
make a religion check. As you pull the doll, it's still there. Hasn't changed.
I don't think I have it.
Religion will be under intelligence.
So it's just a straight up +2, I think.
Okay.
So 12.
12? The doll's still there. Doesn't make you feel anything here or there, but it's a doll. From what you know, like it's.
Why don't we
Is anybody else checking their
I'm
items
gonna
from the
check
house?
and see if the deed is still in my case.
So as you open the case, you reach into like the pouch where you had. What did you have in there?
The deed to the house
And
and
had
Oh,
Mussolini.
Shade.
I had the key
Yeah.
to Thorn and Rose's house.
The room.
And I have the ivory brush. That's 25 gold.
Yep. Was. You reach into your pouch and it's just ash.
Alright.
All of it is ash.
Did I get the patch? from the
I want to
house?
check on the crystal orb that I took from the basement. I guess.
Still there.
It's still there?
Actually, sorry, your ivory comb is still there.
So, should I remove the others?
No.
What if we go?
Yeah, it was from the house.
What about my eye patch?
With the rubies
Patch
still
is still
in.
good.
The jewel?
The jewel's still there.
Okay.
You're just noticing like paper effects, food, things like that. They don't seem to survive unless they need to survive. Know what I mean?
Okay, well,
You put your hand in your pouch and you feel around for the papers, and all you feel is ash. But something tells you like, just gonna go ahead and leave it as it lies.
Alright, I think we should,
The ivory comb is still there. It's still beautiful. It's still beautifully made, beautifully ordained.
is it worth a map?
You'll have to go and see.
I think we take him up on his...
Let's
Walk over to the table
agree.
that he's at.
How about a couple of us? We need some people to go and get a map.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a mission that the entire group needs to go on. So who has an item that they...
Well, I'm gonna go and see.
I think Belros
I'll go with
has
you.
an item that
Yeah.
he might be able to get rid of.
So you both are gonna go for a
I'm
map.
going to go see.
You're gonna send the drow to go get a map.
The map.
You had no problem with us.
No, yeah. Yeah, people in this town don't seem to have a problem with any.
Yeah, you guys are like the normal.
They're all
people.
just grab chopping.
That's very true.
I'm gonna go back and just I'm gonna go to the bar
Okay.
and I'm gonna buy another bottle of wine.
Okay.
So that's what, 1 silver.
1 silver.
Okay.
So
I'll
mark
take-
off 1 silver.
And then I'm gonna go sit with our new friend and just kind of keep conversation going.
As you pay for your silver, you hear ding as you turn around really quick, and he threw a silver at you. He's like, no, allow me.
Oh, okay, sweet.
So he'll pay for your drink.
And then I'm gonna just go sit with the bottle and sit down and just kind of casual conversation,
And the
trying
rest
to
of
be
you?
friendly.
And the rest of you?
Right, let's go.
We're going.
Let's go to the merch.
We be walking.
I don't know, I'll have another
We walk
drink.
out of the tavern.
So you all sit at the table
What are you gonna get
with
with
Ismar?
Get a brush,
Okay.
an ivory brush.
So you guys go over to the mercantile. You open the door. Ding, 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 ding. Such a nice ring. Yeah.
bell.
And he goes, welcome back.
How's
Thank
it
you.
going?
What can I do for you today?
Alright, so we're gonna head out on a little mission. We're wondering if you have a map to Barovia,
Map.
of Barovia. We'll trade you
Not the
some items. The country, I mean.
I'm gonna do it from this side because I can raise this eyebrow. Trade?
Trade, yes.
For what?
What are you interested in?
What do you have?
We have jewels. We have personal hygiene items.
He doesn't know whether that's like a shot at him. And you kind of see him do one of these, like a. Show me.
Okay, I'll pull out my ivory brush with silvered bristles. Look at those gleaming.
And you?
You put
He,
on
he recognizes the items. He knows where they're from.
Oh,
And he looks at them and he says,
great.
"Ah." And he leaves and you hear him rummage around the back. You hear like things falling over in what would essentially be like a storage room. He comes out and he says, no trade, gold.
No trade.
How much gold will you give me for the eye patch?
I don't want it.
Oh, that's fair. How much gold?
He looks at the map. Give 25.
Can I see the map first?
And he opens up the map. It's a small little leather strapping that holds it together. I think I may have a picture of it that you guys can see. Just give me uno momento, por favor. That's the village. That's the map he has.
Okay, so there's no like country.
So it's intact. It's obviously everything we need to know is there.
For the village, will we know the country? I mean, I'm not there, so I
Oh, well, we're trying to get out of the village,
Yeah.
Out of
and this other guy's saying he's gonna take us to the outskirts.
Yep.
Have you ever been outside of Barovia?
Town or country?
Village.
Once.
And you made it back?
Outside village, yes. Outside country, I don't go. Too many rules. Too much fog.
We're gonna have a guide.
You want map or not?
Yep, I'll take it.
50 gold.
I believe you said 25, good sir.
25.
No, I said 55.
But it's slightly damaged.
Where? And he looks at it and he... Perfectly fine.
It's the display.
Um,
I want a discount.
Ooh.
Don't give you a photographic memory.
okay. I'll give you
Yeah, just
40
Look
gold, and we want the bell back.
He walks over and grabs... You don't know what he's doing, but given a couple of seconds, he walks over and hears... Can. He's ringing the old bell. He's like... He looks over and he goes... No. And he just walks back into the back room with the map. He puts it away. Comes back,
I don't think it's even worth it for this one. We don't need it.
flips through his book and starts writing back in his ledger.
She's not there. You
Anything
can steal
else?
whatever you want.
I think you should talk to him.
I have sleight of hand.
No, I don't know that, but I guess I should. Okay.
Well, you won't be able to steal it from like the back.
But she's a rogue. She can go steal.
Oh, that's
Make a
true.
perception check.
True.
Me or her.
I've got no good. No one's working for me.
He can't help her in this situation because she knows what she wants to do, right?
When can you help somebody?
I'll let you know.
Oh,
17.
yeah.
Okay, so as he's walking away and he puts it back, you see the door swing open, swing shut. As he walks back out, you notice he just, about maybe 40 feet away from you, he just puts it in a little, what essentially would be a bin. He just drops it there.
A bin full of
As he
maps.
comes back.
Oh,
So you put the map back?
Yeah.
It's
He
in a
came
bin.
back to the cache
He's not,
empty
yeah, he's
handed.
not giving you the map. He loves that bell too much.
But it's in a bin.
You guys are gonna do so much. She's not there right now.
You also cannot tell her that you're stealing this.
No.
map.
Damn, that town's way bigger than I
Yeah.
So
You
I
can't go
am.
with us.
Where did you go? Did you go somewhere?
Who?
No, he's back.
No, he's
No, I'm
back
back at
talking
the...
Watching us.
Not watching, he's essentially just writing in his ledger.
Okay. I'm gonna try and take the map.
What are you gonna...
How are you gonna do it though?
I'm gonna take it.
Start walking towards like
You're
the
gonna take it
back,
and run?
I'm gonna
like
put it in
browse
my
through the
case.
shelves, and then you're gonna try
Just
and
walk by and
make a sleight of hand.
Do you know which one it is? Oh,
yes, I watched him. I watched
you did
him
watch
put
him
it
put
in,
it in.
and I have my eye on it.
Oh.
So make a sleight of hand check.
Oh man,
That face
big
was so
dice, big
Oh
dice.
God! Good
Where am I
luck.
here?
Okay, okay. You can't be disappointed if you don't go.
Oh,
bastard! 10.
Okay, you're lucky because you rolled an 8. So on his perception, just as like his passive. 10 with your sleight. What's your sleight? What's your bonus?
Plus 7.
Okay.
Thank God. Thank God it's a plus
I know.
So you walk over
Blue
and
dice.
the reason you have such a hard time with it is because this routine was simple. You walk into a store, Mussolini jumps out, he scurries around, the shop owner freaks out and tries to get him, you snatch something, and you get out. doesn't feel right this time. But you're gonna do it anyway because that's what you do. You gotta survive. So you clumsily go to grab for the map. What you think is the map. Grab it. Store it in your pocket right away. Come walking through. He's not even paying attention. He's just kind of making idle small talk with Belrose. And that's it. What do you do?
So you have it now?
You didn't say that out loud. You got the map?
No, that was not allowed.
Correct.
Well,
All right.
you can do it just like little.
Oh yeah, we
outside
can
game.
look at each other and
Sign it.
sign it.
Yes, we can.
So
So I'm signing it.
alright.
Drow hand language is so subtle. It's like little flicks of fingers, eh?
was.
No, this is like.
See it.
Yeah.
Stay away. We're good here. So yes, anything else I can help you with?
Thank you, kind sir. I think we will go back to our party.
Nah,
We hope you enjoy the bell.
thank you.
Any luck with the spell book?
No. Plenty of empty books you can write in.
Okay.
Do you need a book?
No.
Okay.
I'm just gonna cast a minor illusion. Or sorry, no, I'm gonna prestidigitation.
Okay. What are you prestidigitizing?
I'm just gonna say I'm just gonna do a shower of sparks.
Nice.
Harmless. Just a nice exit.
Right. He looks at you and he says, "Thank you."
Catches the bell rope on fire.
Copies your sign language.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
He knows. He fucking knows.
So I push the door open. And
All right.
I'm walking out, and hopefully you're following me.
Yeah.
What are the rest of you doing while this circus act is going on?
Okay.
Drinking.
Now I would
Do
also
we have
like
any other questions
to
that we want to ask you?
Oh, what would you also like to do?
make a copy of the map.
So you want to pull out the
Look
map?
at the map.
Pull out the map.
All right.
You left the store, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're not there yet. We're
No,
still
you're not
drinking.
Where am I?
Gotcha.
We're just gonna duck in between some buildings.
Yep. Which you can definitely do around.
Do anything we're missing? Can you tell us?
So if you can see the mouse in the center, see it?
Yeah.
So you guys are here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you're walking back, you'd probably be able to sneak in over here.
Can I like? How do I like? Is paper an item?
You need parchment.
Okay.
Do you have any?
No. Do you have parchment?
You
So-
want to know who has parchment?
Probably have to buy for 10 gold.
He has a lot of books that you can write in.
Should have got a book.
Well, do you
I'm not
guys
going
sneak
back
in there and
anymore.
try to open the map first?
Well, we're gonna go and sneak.
Yeah,
into
we're
the
gonna go
building.
look at the map.
We're gonna take a look at the map.
So, okay, you guys go in and you open up the map. Do either of you know Barovia?
Fucking language, goddamn it.
I
No, neither of you do.
highly
So
doubt
all
it.
the things that are listed on there that would have like anything written word-wise,
like
the legend,
in or whatever.
how far things are and stuff like that, it's all written in Barovia, which
That's okay. We have the guide.
Yeah, we have
Yeah,
this
yeah.
map. It's
Mhm.
fine.
Okay. All right. I can't do what I wanted to do, so.
Okay.
But just so you guys know, the map that you have doesn't look like that.
What does our map look like?
I don't have a picture of the map.
Okay.
But your map doesn't look like that one.
Okay.
That was the one he showed you,
Mm-hmm.
but your map doesn't look like that.
Oh, you stole the wrong map.
So we'll take it back to.
Maybe it's a better map.
Oh, you're gonna take
It's
it back
not-
to the merchant.
No, we don't want this.
We stole this, but you can have it back.
Return
We're
this?
gonna go back to Ismark and see if he can help us with it.
Okay, so you walk in, they're all making conversation. So while you guys are making your way back, we'll go to you guys. What are you speaking to Ismark about?
You want to tap.
Yeah, that guy that disappeared over there, that asshole.
Yeah,
Who is he?
the Devil Strahd. Sometimes
was
it's
him.
not actually him. It's more of like a mirror, like an image he projects out sometimes. Sometimes it's actually him. Punch him in his fucking face some days. But Yes.
So he likes to joke around, does he?
No, he likes to show up. That's all. He does not joke.
So he often just comes and then leaves?
Vampires can do that, yes.
I just grab her arms and put them down. Like, calm the fuck down.
I'm just sitting there like
And I was like,
this.
enough, enough.
Just for RP purposes, he lights a pipe. I think he's tried to turn my sister plenty of times, which is why I want to get her.
Turn what?
Turn her.
Oh.
For a bride.
Oh,
Obviously.
Right. Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
Vampire, live forever, take many a bride.
well, vampire, yes, but bride,
But
bride's-
her, he is especially smitten with, and I don't know why, and it is absolutely vishnesne breaking.
Is there a reason that she's not here with you?
She's safer with the Burgermaster right now.
Maybe when our friends get back, we can go and visit her.
Definitely, we will go get her and make our way to Velaki.
Do you happen to have any maps? I think I asked you this, but I'm not sure.
I don't have a map, but
You
I
just-
know these lands better than...
It's just memory.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Anyone else?
We're going back
Are we
towards
back
you.
yet?
You guys would walk in the door. Clink, clink, clink.
oh.
It's a bad bell.
Bells.
Ah, the drow. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any luck finding a map?
So.
How well do you know this merchant keeper?
Very well.
Are you gonna be talking to him later today?
Why do you ask? Bildrath is nice. He's usually a good man.
He's
Pretty
so
empty,
nice.
but good man.
Yeah, he's so.
Just
nice.
very set in his way. He only knows one way, so.
Nervous?
Sorry, guys.
You don't know anything.
Shaking.
Yes, he is very nice.
And he looks at what you have. He goes, "Oh, you have a map. Good.
Mm.
Oh, you must have paid a pretty penny for it.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
cheap, unless
No.
you're a Vistani. Then he offers very good trade, very even, fair trade. For the rest of us, he hoses us for everything that we are worth, even though it's worth nothing here.
Yeah. We
So-
just found it.
Outside, eh?
Found it?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do one of these.
Just ignore him. Okay. Can you help us read this map?
So he opens it up and he looks at it, and
He wants our help. I don't think he's gonna care that much.
then he cracks a little bit of a
That's how
smile
good
and he
of a friend
says, "This is the map of Barovia he sold you, yes?"
he is. Yeah.
And he looks at you two like, very inquisitively. He goes, "Good. I've always wanted to learn how to build a horse stable."
Oh.
Well, I hope you guys didn't
So
pay
we
too
look
much
at-
for that
we looked
map.
Yeah, we looked at them like.
I'm just kind of chuckling, like.
Well, what did you guys do while we were gone?
Belrose
Not
immediately
steal
on the
the
defensive.
wrong
Like, you did.
Not steal the wrong map.
Okay. You know we stole it.
Oh, he knows you stole
We
it.
all know you stole it.
Yeah.
Didn't you roll high for that math? That's not fair.
She rolled a 17 to see where he put it.
Yeah.
He put it in a bin of maps, or a bin of parchment drawings. She walked by and just snatched one. She also rolled a 10.
Oh, that's true. You
Yeah.
didn't roll very high.
No.
You should
Okay.
have been-
You're lucky you got away with something. So he chuckles to himself and he looks at the two drow and he goes, "Mm, good thing you had me.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to build a horse, right?" And he kind of like puts it in his little pack and he goes, "I hope he didn't charge you too much."
Nope.
Just a pretty penny.
I think we're all in agreement then. We're going on this.
I think it'd be lovely to meet your sister.
Then we go.
Let's go.
Eric. And Eric doesn't move. До свидания.
I hate this one. Poor Eric.
Leave it.
He has to, so.
You guys all exit?
Idiot.
Yeah.
Alright, so you exit. You make your way down. I actually have to mess up now.
Where are we in relation to that map on the wall there?
You're not anywhere there.
I'm not anywhere there. Oh. You mean there's more?
So as you guys exit out the bar, you realize that as you exit out, you know, it's still dreary and you're starting to feel like it's misting. Not that it's raining, but it is getting a little bit moist in the air.
Oh, my hair.
You, Ismark gets out, he kind of stretches his boots out a little bit. Now you start to see he's a pretty tall man. Probably not as tall as half of you, but he's tall enough. He's more towards 6 than he is 5. And he starts walking south. And he goes, "Come, this way." So now you have to walk past the mercantile. the mercantile's...
Towards south.
Yep, you're walking
But
south.
we already came from this direction.
No, you didn't.
I do.
You came from the
Oh, you
east.
came from the east. Oh,
You thought you were traveling. You were traveling south, and all of a sudden you were traveling west.
right. Yeah.
Weird how that happens, eh?
Oh, that's true.
So you walk past the mercantile, and you walk down the street, and you just begin to hear... It's okay.
We start to hear
Wow.
No, actually, something similar. That what you start to hear actually is that same. Your timing was impeccable.
It's too good.
You start to hear that same
Actually here.
wailing and moaning that you heard when you immediately entered the streets. The sound that you were originally walking towards. That's what you hear. And the sound is getting louder and louder and louder.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help it.
What?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing at all.
What do you do?
What is that sound?
What is God awful sound?
It sounds like a woman wailing in pain.
That poor woman.
God.
Is that his sister?
Oh,
Not his sister.
Oh,
Okay.
thank God.
And it's coming from a house?
It's coming from a house to the east of you, so essentially on your left as
It's
you're
Muff?
traveling south.
The
Yes.
the crying.
Yes, she never stops crying.
Why?
Who's she? Also. Sorry.
The moaning sob floats through the still gray streets, and you all start to feel yourself being overcome with sadness.
We forgot about this, by the way.
The sounds flow from a dark two-story home now immediately to your left, and you all abruptly stop.
Oh,
Yo, make us a point tonight.
The windows are lit. Ismark stops as well, and he gazes over, a lot of pain in his face as he stares into the house.
silence.
Oh no.
I don't think we want to go. I think we just walk.
I kind of think that we have to.
You check it out. Do you guys want to go check out the?
Not the
check out
final
moaning?
word from our fearless leader.
I'd prefer to just keep going.
Yeah, I don't
To
really
the edge of
want
the
to
city.
at all.
Is there anything we can do for her?
You don't know. You just hear the sobbing, and you're
He's asking-
overcome with sadness.
He's asking Ismark.
Yeah.
Oh, Ismark?
Yeah.
Not many stop on her anymore, which I think furthers her loneliness and sadness.
Guys are such
Well-
suckers. It was the kids first, now this bitch.
6 of us would be overwhelming to someone who hasn't seen anyone in a while, so let's just keep going.
Ah, you are wise.
Nah, 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 nah. Drow logic. There's too many of us. She probably doesn't want to say this.
Think about what she wants.
Go for it, Mara.
What do you think?
Seriously, guys? Just me?
I'm not saying any of us should go, but I mean,
I'm not particularly fond of wandering into houses that we get lured into by crying things. It didn't really work out well for
But
us
the
last
guy
time.
at the bar just wants to give us all the information, wants to take us to the Burgermeister's house. That's not all.
I'm with you on that.
At this point, I'm more trusting of the man who isn't crying and a ghost than the possible ghost in the house.
Can we leave her some flowers or something and keep moving?
We just rested and just got out of a house. Like, let's just go enjoy the rest of this town for a bit.
Yeah.
She's been there forever. We can go back.
Yeah, we'll come back.
Okay.
Alright, before we leave, we'll come back.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Maybe.
Absolutely.
That's
If we make it back to if we make it back
She's
to
not
the
in
town, then
pain. She's
For all our
just
Canadian
lonely.
viewers, hard no.
She's
Alright,
just sad, right? She's
alright,
not
let's
hurt.
go see,
we don't know.
God, right now. Right now, Mara fucking hates us all.
let's just go.
Girl's got some
Okay.
pull
We're on
tonight.
our way.
Okay. Okay, so
Fiora's not
as you're walking towards down the street, the sobs and sorrow and gentle cries escape your ears as you get further and further away. And as you look ahead of you, a weary-looking mansion squats behind a rusting iron fence. The iron gates are twisted and torn. The right gate lies cast aside, while the left swings lazily in the wind. The stuttering squeal and clang of the gate repeats with mindless precision. Just ting, 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 over and over and over again. Weeds choke the ground and press with menace upon the house itself, encasing it almost. Yet against the walls, the growth has been tramped down to create a path all about the domain. Heavy claw markings have stripped the once beautiful finish on the walls. Great black marks tell of the fires that have assailed the mansion. Not a pane nor a shard of glass stands in any of the windows. All the windows are barred with planks, and each one marked with stains of an evil omen. As you approach the gates, what do you do?
Is that the Burgermaster's house?
The mansion, yes.
Right.
So sorry, there's evil on the
And he's Mark's with us, right? Well,
He's leading the way. As he turns to you and he says, "Come, not much to look at, but she's solid." Starts making his way through the gate. Ting, 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 ting. Starts making his way towards the house.
It's Mark, what's with the omens?
Helps keep the devil away.
Let's go.
I guess we go around.
So you're just walking in towards the house and that's it?
There's nothing else, like, other than what you're describing?
Make a perception check.
Can I help her?
Sure.
One more.
One more?
Yeah.
she's helping me.
That'd be a 10.
Just whatever you see with the naked eye.
Is the wolf fine going towards the house?
He's keeping in tow with you. He's alright.
But he doesn't seem like disturbed.
Do you have the stats for a wolf up right now?
Yeah.
From the monster manual?
Yeah, I copied it.
Make a perception check for him. Oh, actually, no. Make a survival check for him.
He didn't have survival.
It'll be under his wisdom.
Oh, okay. So plus 1. 18.
18?
Yes.
He immediately starts surveying the outside of it, the trampled weeds that are all around the house. He nose to the ground. He just starts.
But he's not like disturbed by like how animals like they don't like ghosts.
Nope. He's not disturbed at all.
Okay. Well, because he's not worried, I feel more comfortable, and I'm just going to go and walk through.
Alright.
follow Ismark inside. Okay. So you follow Ismark inside. The interior of the mansion is well furnished, yet fixtures show signs of great wear. Noticeable oddities are the boarded up windows and the presence of holy symbols in every room. The burgomaster is in the side drawing room on the floor and lying in a simple wooden coffin surrounded by wilting flowers and a faint odor of decay.
Hold on.
So who's in the coffin?
The burgomaster, their father, who they want to bury in sacred ground.
Oh. Jeez, Mark, you could have told us that.
I did tell you that. Our father, the burgomaster, we want to bury him in sacred ground.
You must have missed that.
Is it the accent that screwed you up for that, or?
Probably, yeah.
I see. My father is dead. Can't bury him here because the ground is shit and evil. Want to take him to Valaki, where the ground is good.
It's all coming together now.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Alright, where's no one else is here mourning? Just your sister and you?
Where's your sister?
Probably upstairs. Arina! And as he screams for her, you hear the clink, clink, clink. And coming down the stairs is a well-adorned woman wearing half plate. You can see breastplated, shoulder pauldron, red silken weaves in between, with a beautifully adorned silvered sword hanging at her side. She comes down. She says, "Brother," as she walks down the stairs, "who are your friends?" As she looks at all of you.
Arroz.
Mira.
Captain
The sender.
Hmm.
just like
in her ear.
just like all up in your ear, yeah.
Multiple
All up
directions.
in her
Those are cool.
As she walks down the stairs, actually,
Is she also super conveniently beautiful?
she immediately flies 2 steps down the stairs in between you and makes a line for the door and kicks it shut, draws her sword, and tells everybody to be quiet. There's a wolf outside.
No. He's friendly.
She turns and gives you a glare. There are no friendly wolves.
He's my he's
Like
my
that the
companion.
connection is off from last time.
Yeah. He's with me. It's my wolf.
You can tell she's very uncomfortable with the idea of a wolf being around. As she begins to tell you, wolves, ghouls, zombies, everything ravages this house once a night. Tell me why your wolf should not die now.
Because we're going to help get you to wherever your brother asked us to get your help. We are here to help you.
She looks at Ismark right away. They're touchy. They're not from here. Where are they from? Would you believe the run? And she immediately, again, goes into her questioning. The run. What do they do? And she pieces it together herself. She goes, and sheathes her sword. Thank you.
And I had my hand on my bow, so I'm like, now like, okay.
No one in this town will help us. So thank you. Keep your wolf tame. And as she walks over,
If
she
your
looks at her.
sword's sheathed.
She looks at her father, and the casket was. And Ismark kind of. He's had a few, right? So he's a little bit loose. So he kind of leans back and he goes, "I built that myself." And Arena kind of shoots him a look. She helped a little, but it was mostly me.
It's lovely
Was
craftsmanship.
that why he stole the plans? He just likes making stuff, I guess. He stole them because he wants to make a horse. What is it, a horse shed? Is that what is that the
Yeah,
plan?
stable.
He wants to make a stable too.
Oh. Horse shed, whatever.
So. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, I just lost my place. My bad. So, the brother says, or Ismar says to her, he goes, they're going to help us take father to Villaki. It'll be a lot easier to bring him there. To which she will reply to him.
She will what?
She will reply to him.
I thought she
Sorry,
was-
I have to go back and forth on a couple of these.
I was like,
I don't have the
replied to
book.
me.
I don't have the book. I have the thing on D&D Beyond, so it's hard to scroll back and forth. She says, she goes, we don't go to Villaki until father gets buried at the church. And Ismark looks at her puzzling him and he says, no, we'll take father to Villaki. Bury him there. She goes, no, the church is consecrated. I need to go to Villaki. And Ismark kind of puzzles himself and he goes, ah, yes, good news. We only need to bring my father to the church. Then we bring my sister to Villaki. Sorry, my bad. The wine here is shit. As he turns back around to Oliver, he goes, so, we bring father to the church, bury him in consecrated ground, easy peasy, and then we march to Villaki so that my sister is safe from the devil's Strahd.
Where is this church?
The church is just across town. Maybe kilometer two, maybe. Not far. 10-15 minutes.
And is this going to become like a troublesome task?
I don't think so. It's pretty late at night. We might even be able to see something really cool if we go quickly.
What?
Oh, you'll see.
Full of surprises.
You'll have to excuse the questions, but we don't really know you that well, and a little bit of information would probably be.
Especially since you say the wolves and the ghouls attack the house every night.
Yes.
What time?
Could be any time. Whenever Strahd
Now?
feels like he wants to come and lay siege to our home. They all work for the Devil Strahd. They are all part of his. They are all part of his
So drunk, in fact.
very big plans to have my sister. And he spits on the floor. Fucking pig. Strahd, not my sister. But yes, my father needs to be in consecrated ground. Hopefully his soul will be able to escape this land. Probably not, but it's worth a try.
Alright, well.
I'm looking at the jar.
What condition is the house in?
Poor. There's no glass in the windows.
How are we getting this coffin to the church?
Yes, do you have a horse?
Yes.
Carriage?
It's safe to say they want his dad.
Have you ever heard of the term pallbearer?
Disguise the coffin.
We're just gonna
Trudge
be-
down the street
We're gonna
with a coffin.
weekend at Bernie's him around town.
And get attacked.
Because they want him.
Because they don't care about the house, they care about the coffin.
Disguise the coffin.
What if we put
Well, they've been
And
defending
her.
the house. Like the house looks well defended, but you can only defend it so much against a bunch of undead creatures
I
trying
think
to.
they want the sister. You said that many times.
Seems like a fighter.
Oh, she definitely seems like a fighter. She has
A
a
silvered sword.
And
she
plate
knows
armor.
what she's up
She knows
against.
what's good.
She doesn't say that.
Are we just walking down the street with a coffin?
Yes.
Pretty much.
Basically.
For 15 minutes.
Or so.
Alright, guys, well,
Or
suit
so.
up.
Hope everyone's got their spells prepared and is.
All right, so you guys
Okay, so
pick up the
we're
coffin.
picking up the coffin.
Belrose,
There's
are
nothing
you?
else in this house? There's nothing else
Are
in
you
the
we
room?
should
on
look
board?
around
Why am I the
house.
person? Why am I the person investigating the room here?
I'll investigate the room.
How many people do we
No
need?
reason.
I'm not gonna steal from them.
How many people do we need to lift this thing?
You'll need 6, and that's not including. So 4 of you will have to hold the coffin.
Okay.
So who's holding it?
I'm little.
Well,
I'm not
strength-wise,
holding the coffin.
what's people's
You're
strength?
6
I
one.
should. I guess I should.
I have
be-
0
should be-
strength.
I have -1 strength.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
I'm like 5
Belrose and I are useless. What is your strength?
So the 4 of you, since
Yeah, pretty
Belrose
much,
and them
yeah.
are useless.
Yep.
I mean, it won't be too hard for the 4 of you and Irina and Ismark to carry the coffin.
Mind you, even with -1, you'd be able to hold like a corner of the casket.
The weight is split between
All
6
right,
people.
I'll take.
Take a
I'll
corner?
the middle.
Alright.
I feel like we should leave him free to use
Dick
both
punch.
his hands.
Alright.
You never know.
So,
Should it be?
and you should be free to range.
Yeah.
So I
I think I'm
will.
okay with
So the
that.
4 of you?
I can
Yeah.
wield spells with one hand, right?
I mean, we
I
can
think
always
so.
put the coffin
Think
down.
so.
I don't know if that's an
Gently
option.
put
Oh, yeah.
the coffin down whilst being attacked.
How long would it take to put the coffin down? Would it be like an action? Would it be a
No, no. You guys will be able to, like... Well, it depends. If you end up jumping into combat and something has a surprise round on you, then you have to essentially drop the coffin.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, would the
Well,
enemy
we'll see
have
what
the
happens when we get
advantage?
there.
Well,
If
we gotta
get
carry
there.
the coffin.
Alright.
So
All right, cool.
the
Alright,
coffin's
so
got to be carried.
You guys pick up the coffin, you make your way out the door. The wolf begins trotting beside you, much to, Irina's dismay.
So what? The wolf's just walking around like
Just
nothing?
following her,
Or does he take a
keeping a
corner?
close eye.
Why do you hate him so much? You have no reason to hate him.
You guys come out and start heading
I have no
north
reason to like
towards the church. It's relatively uneventful. You walk up the street, heading north, bank a little bit to the west, and you can start to see the church. Atop a slight rise, against the roots of a pillar stone that supports Castle Ravenloft, stands a gray, sagging edifice of stone and wood. The stone has obviously weathered the assaults of evil for centuries on end, and is worn and weary. A bell tower rises towards the back, and flickering light shines through the holes in a single roof. The rafters strain feebly against their load. Do you approach the church doors?
Check it for traps.
Well, no, we don't. Why go in the church? Just go straight to the graveyard. Where's the graveyard?
Behind the church.
Do we have to go through the church to get to the
Yes.
graveyard?
Can we send some religious folk in there?
It must make
Like lures?
So as you're
Is
walking,
there-
Can we do like an investigation check? I guess for general ground.
it looks like a church.
Okay.
It's a church ground. Like as you walk up to the road leads right up to those gates, and then
And
the-
what
the
god?
stone
And
pillar.
what god is this church?
This would be the Morning Lord. Lathander, I believe his name is.
All right. Well, okay. Go open the doors to the church.
The heavy wooden doors of the church are covered with claw marks and are scarred by fire. As you walk up to them, you push on them, and they all start to open.
Spill the schools.
The village.
Yes, here.
Yeah,
So as you walk in,
Okay. Is that from the music?
it must be.
It's always upstairs.
oh, there is one. Okay,
Stop.
sorry, I can. Okay. So I didn't print this map. I'm sorry, but there is a map. So as you walk in, the doors open to reveal a 10-foot wide, 20-foot long hall leading to a brightly lit chapel. The hall is unlit and reeks of mildew. 4 doors, 2 on either side of the hall, lead to adjacent chambers. You can see that the chapel is strewn with debris, and you hear a soft voice from within reciting a prayer. Suddenly, the prayer is blotted out by an inhuman scream that rises up beneath the wooden floor.
Did anyone else hear that?
Yep. Yes, I did.
So as you walk in, Ismark says, the priest Donovan, he's the one we are here to see. He will help us. Donovan. He will help us do this right.
So
Just keep mindful while we are here.
So Ismark was not swayed or deterred by the scream
No.
that we heard? Okay.
Where is Donovan?
You imagine that is the faint prayer that you're listening to.
And what was that shriek?
Or who are you asking?
You, Ismar.
Ismar?
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
Ismark just kind of shakes his head. He goes, "We'll speak to Donovan first."
I am not feeling good about this.
Can we like set the coffin down?
You'll continue like into the hallway, and then that's where you'll. Sorry, 1 second. There we go. Yep, you will. You'll begin walking to, like in the ground floor. You're walking through the hallway. You're essentially going to bring it into the vestibule area of the church. So that's where you'll be heading. Straight hallway, like it's about a 40 foot shot. So. As you're walking through, like I said, there's 2 rooms on either side adjacent to each other, so.
We're in a hallway?
You're in a hallway, yes. So there's, as you're walking through the hallway, in front of you, you can see the opening to where the church would be. And that's where you hear the prayer coming from. And then there's
Oh, great.
2 rooms on the left of you and 2 rooms on the right of you.
I want to creep into a room.
Are you carrying the coffin?
Oh yeah.
You are.
Let's
First
just
I
go
said
straight for
no, then I
Donovan.
said yes. Then I
This
forgot.
is already kind of creeping me out.
I think we should go see the priest first
Yeah,
before
Let's
we
go
go.
onward. This coffin is heavy.
Yeah. We're breaking a sweat here.
So as you make your way towards the back of it, you head towards the chapel. The chapel is in absolute shambles, with overturned and broken pews littering the dusty floor. Dozens of candles mounted in candlesticks and candelabras light every dusty corner in a fervent attempt to rid the chapel of its shadows. Shadows just seem to encompass the entire chapel. At the far end of the church sits a claw-scarred altar, behind which kneels a priest. In soiled vestments. Next to him hangs a long, thick rope that stretches up into the bell tower. And as you approach it, you all drop the casket, offer whatever up prayers to whatever gods you believe in. And as you walk up, Donovan stands up and he goes, "Ismark, Arina, so good to see you. As you can see, we've had many troubles." And you hear stomping and a little bit of the murmurs and screaming again. You can barely make it out. And he looks disheveled and he goes, "As you can tell, nobody comes to the church anymore." And Ismark walks up to him, shakes his hand. And he looks at all of you, he goes, "What are you all doing here?"
Gonna bury the Burgermeister. Quite simple. We have one task.
"You are all good people." He goes, "I can't tell you how long it's been since we've had guests." And Ismark turns to Donovan, he looks at him, he says, "How are you?" "Not well. It's been a trying few months." So as you all intake this utterly creepy place, you hear very clearly from the bottom, and the only reason you can hear it is because you hear the pounding coming from underneath your feet. "Father! I'm starving!" And that's where we'll end tonight.
So many ghouls. All of the ghouls.
Huzzah.